now tuned in
You are now tuned into
to the realest show on YouTube with your host, the Angryman.
So, like I told you guys, I had an interesting conversation that happened last night where Logic said that he feels like black people earned let's back up for a second. Let me get my energy right. So last night, I saw my man Freezy was live. They were talking about simps, super simps, right? And on the thumbnail was a picture of Ace Metaphor, Derek Jackson, and Yada Awakened. So once I got finished with my show, I still had some energy. So I'm like, let me go over here and see what they talking about. I jump on the panel and they're talking about DEI and affirmative action. Now, that should have been my cue to leave. I shouldn't even, once I went up there and noticed that it was a group of Negroes talking about DEI, I should have just left, right? Keep in mind, this is nothing against Freezy, but Freezy has a particular type of audience, right? I would argue that Freezy's audience is probably predominantly black, right? But not predominantly conservative. So anything I say over there is just going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. Oh, he's a coon. He's a sellout. And I'm not saying Freezy would say this, but the people in his chat room, some of the people on his panel, they're just going to think everything I say is egregious because in most cases, they never even encountered a nigga like me, right? So they're over there talking about affirmative action. And Logic said he think black people earned affirmative action. And I basically said, I disagree. I understand why affirmative action was implemented. I understand why people that are black like the fact that it was implemented. But I also understand the downside of it. And I tried to explain to Negroes the downside of it. The downside of programs like affirmative action, programs like DEI, it's no different than the downside of pretty much any program that Democrats give you. When Democrats give black people programs, those programs are meant to keep you as a second-class citizen. These niggas don't understand that. No matter how many ways you explain it to them, they don't understand it. And the reason why they don't understand it is because the Democrats figured out something about black people. They figured out that if they want to screw you over, all they have to do is give you free shit. It's basically the blankets with smallpox in it at a different level. That's all they got to do. If they want to screw you over, all they got to do is give you free shit. And I don't know why you keep falling for it, right? But I'm going to play some of this discussion because I want y'all to hear what was said because I can't repeat it verbatim. And it was shocking when I was listening to it, when I was in the moment. I want y'all to listen to it and you tell me what you think. In fact, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the other side of it. So check it out, listen to this, and you're going to get, those of you that are conservative that rarely ever get a chance to hear the way more liberal-minded black folk think, you're in for a treat. Oh, you're in for a treat. conservative black folk, you're going to hear this and you're going to understand why black people are where we're at. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. Trust me. So let's check it out. I don't agree with the overcorrection. I just want the shit to be more.
It's just something that's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? But you say it's returning back to its natural state, right? So if we're gonna get philosophical, is it the natural state, or is this a conditioned state? Is this a learned state? You feel me? And I think that's a part of the exploration. I'm sorry. You got to go ahead. You got to go ahead.
This is important, right? Black people earn what they was given. I don't think we was given nothing. I think affirmative action was something that was earned. You know what I'm saying? You can debate that long or whatever. Whoever want to debate that. But this is the problem. They let everything else in. If they would have kept it to women and black people, that if you go through history and go through time in America, say, okay, you know what? They deserve this, right? Once it got outrageous, till you start saying transgender, sexual preferences, all that goofy shit, that's when you lost your fucking goddamn rights. It's the same thing with the border. When nobody really complained about Julio working at the gas station, when nobody complained about Julio picking oranges, you did too much and you just started letting niggas in. They wasn't working. The Mexican changed. He started going in hotels playing Xbox, collecting food stamps. So now, when they overcorrect, guess who they gonna get? Julio at the gas station. When they overcorrect, guess what they gonna get? Black people and women.
Well, here's the thing, Logic. I disagree with the affirmative action and the DI. Well, DI is just another version of affirmative action. Like,
no, the DEI was the fucking they took it and fucked up affirmative action.
Yeah, well, that's what they did. That's what they always do. Like, that was them piggybacking on the black plight. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So
you say you disagree with affirmative action?
Yeah, I disagree with it.
I want to hear this.
So the reason why I disagree with affirmative action is I don't think that's something that is earned. I understand why it was done. It was done because, quite frankly, you had white people doing shit back in the day that they shouldn't have did. So, in my opinion, it's just like what Muse just said. Affirmative action was like an overcorrection. And the reason why I say it's an overcorrection is because when you have something like affirmative action, it puts black people in a position to where it doesn't inspire black people to compete more. It actually inspires them to have more of an entitled attitude.
Sorry to interject, but I'm gonna disagree with that. But I hear you. You got it.
Yeah.
Now, immediately, what I just said is sound logic. The moment you start giving black people things, right? Because let's be real, you got some black folks that probably worked their ass off, and the affirmative action might have gave them a little bit of a bump. That black person might have deserve that. But what about all the black people that get that bump that didn't deserve it? And what happens to the overall mentality of the culture when they know that bump is there? That doesn't inspire you to work harder. It actually makes you think that the world owes you something. And that's the worst type of attitude to have in a capitalist society. Right? But soon as I said that, I disagree with that. I disagree with that. How can you disagree with that looking at the current condition of the black community? The black community gets more programs, more shit than they ever got in the history of this world. So why is it now that black people get more shit, we're less productive? As opposed to when we didn't get anything back during Jim Crow, Reconstruction, and we were more productive. Like, it's logic. It makes perfect sense.
I'm totally against that, but go ahead.
You can disagree, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, when you sit back and you look at an organization and you say, okay, this organization is damn near it's 98% white. We need
Uh-huh.
more. We need more black people in this organization. It's fine if you go out and you get the best and the brightest black people that can excel in that organization. It only becomes a problem when you pick black people to just put in there, but they're not doing as well as the white people. Now you got us looking crazy.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you this, right? I'm gonna give you an example. When I first got in the military,
Mm-hmm.
everybody used to be white.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is just like if you put, well, I don't know about black niggas, we kind of dumb. The thing is,
Now here's the thing. Like, I don't always agree with what logic says, right? Some of the stuff he says makes sense. Okay? So I can't tell sometimes if he's trolling or what sometimes I can tell what he really believes. Now, the one thing I didn't get an opportunity to say is that he said when he first got in the military, there were more white people in the military than black people, right? Well, he wants to attribute that to affirmative action, right? And I don't know anything about the military to be able to speak on the military like that as far as the inner workings of the military. But if I had to guess, I would say when he got into the military back in the day, the reason why there were more white people is the same reason there's more white people today, because there's just more white people. The population of white people is larger than the population of black people. So, of course, there's going to be more white people in the military. Not to mention the fact, and this is the one thing we love to ignore, okay? White boys are more patriotic than black boys. White men are more patriotic than black men. In other words, you're rarely going to come across a black guy that goes into the military because he believes it's his duty to fight for his country and all of that. Usually black guys go in the military to get a paycheck or to get some sort of skill or to get money for school or whatever. Let's be real about it. There are white guys out here, they go in the military because they want to be Yankee Doodle Dandy. You feel what I'm saying? They go in the military because they want to be a soldier. They want to fight for their country. They go in the military for the honor of it. So of course, there's going to be more white men in the military than black men or men of any other color, because white men view this as their country. This is America. We love America. We're willing to fight and die for America. They are more patriotic than black men. So a lot of times you have scenarios where people try to attribute it to race, and it has absolutely nothing to do with race. Now, he's going to bring up inside of the military, people getting promoted. I can't speak to that. I can't speak to that. There may have been a time in the military where white boys was getting promoted more than black folk. That may have existed, and it may have been because of racism. I can't speak to that because I was never in the military. I never got to witness it or see anything about it, right? But, you know, I have family members that were in the military. I've never really heard them speak on any of that. You feel me?
is you gotta have a system to sit here and evaluate how people operate. For some strange reason, affirmative action work. Now, you're talking about the recent shit with all these goofy motherfuckers. This is all DI shit. Affirmative action been working in America for a while, right? You didn't have all these goofy Tiffany hairs doing.
And that affirmative action that has been working in America for a while has contributed to the decline in black excellence. I'm going to say it. Niggas don't got to agree with it. Don't nobody got to agree with it. Affirmative action has contributed to the decline of black excellence. In every single category where affirmative action is applied. Not to mention the fact, if you go back and look at the statistics of affirmative action mostly benefits women, particularly white women. So this idea that black people have that affirmative action is the end all be all to make sure that you balance the scales when it comes to racial injustice, that's not how you fix racial injustice. You fix racial injustice by teaching the children something different. Okay? You cannot fix racial injustice by making racial distinctions. You can't do it. And now we're starting to see the results of that. Okay? Because now you've swung the pendulum in the other direction to where now people are getting positions, promotions, jobs just because they're black or just because they're women or now because this other group, the Skittle Squad, has attached themselves to it, they get the positions. And so now you got situations like Los Angeles with those fires, and you don't have competent people in their government. You don't have competent people in their fire departments, and people's houses is burning down. This is what happens when you make, look, nobody's saying that the racial prejudice that white people displayed during the Jim Crow era was right. Nobody's saying that. But you can't turn around and create a system where all of a sudden now you're giving preferential treatment to non-white people. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you the truth. And you ain't going to like this. And look, they got mad at me. They said I was sucking up to the white man. Look, facts are facts. Facts are facts. All right? Part of the reason that you see a decline in America right now, is because there's a lot of companies, there's a lot of organizations that would have been running like a well-oiled machine if some of those white boys would have been able to get those jobs because they were good at those jobs, as opposed to you putting in somebody else just because of their identity and they don't have the skills for that job. And that's just facts. That's just facts. You can say what you want to say. You can say what you want to say. But look, I've worked for companies that were owned by black people. I've worked for companies that were owned by white people. And in my experience, if you work for a black man, shit does not always run the way it's supposed to. Now, I'm not saying that's every black man, but damn near every time I worked for a white man, the shit ran like it was supposed to run. And I told you what that boils down to. It boils down to the fact that black people, we are not as invested in this country as white people are. Okay? It's like somebody being in a house, right? If you live in the house and you feel like you built the house, you feel like you own the house, you're going to treat the house differently than somebody that's in the house that think they're just there temporarily. Because of slavery and because of Jim Crow, because of the unwelcomeness that black people felt back in the day, black people have never gotten over that feeling of not being welcome in America. In fact, once it got to the 60s and you start to see the black liberation movement, like black people saying that we don't belong here, and you got the Pan-African movement. You even have black people that say, I'm not assimilating into American society. How many times have you ever went to a black person's house and they had the American flag hanging out in front of their door? How many times? You can go to a black person's house that was in the military, that is a veteran, that gets a pension, that gets money from the government every single month and lives well and has a nice house, you will not see an American flag hanging outside of their front porch. But if you go to the Appalachian Trail in Virginia, there'll be a white guy that's a military veteran that lives in a trailer eating Spam and ramen noodles, and he'll have an American flag proudly displayed outside of his house. Like, we got to stop lying, y'all. We got to stop lying. Black people do not treat anything they do in this country seriously because black people don't feel that they belong in this country and they don't feel that they have skin in the game. White people feel they belong in this country. White people feel they have skin in the game. And that's why y'all couldn't understand why white folk felt so disrespected when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling during the national anthem. In fact, black folks were saying he got the right to kneel. Like, let's be real about this. We got to stop lying. We got to stop lying. We got to stop lying. And then you got to ask yourself, what would happen if black people did truly love America? What would happen if black people truly felt that this is their country? What would happen if black people acknowledged the fact that their forebears fought in every war? What would happen if black people acknowledged the fact that they helped build this country? Not to feel like they deserve something, but feel like they need to put in the work to make this country what it needs to be. That's a different mentality. It's just like JFK said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. That's the difference. That's the difference. But see, in America, if a black man says he's going to do something for his country, he's going to serve his country, you know what that black man is called in the black community? A coon and a sellout. When a white man says he wants to do something for his country, he wants to serve his country, he's called a hero. By the people in his community. You remember on the Godfather, when the police captain wanted to arrest Michael Corleone, and the guy said, "But Captain, he's a war hero." See, if you go back and you look at Reconstruction, you look historically at Reconstruction, the black people that fought in the Civil War, they fought for their freedom so that they can be acknowledged as American citizens. It's those black people that built what we have as black Americans. And they built it because they wanted to be Americans. They were proud of being Americans. They just wanted America to treat them like Americans. That's it. And here you are today. You're being treated like Americans. You literally have a president that's telling people that's coming here from other countries illegally, you can't use the 14th Amendment to get birthright citizenship here. That was for black people. He acknowledged it in an executive order. That man has stood up on the podium and said, black people built this country. He made a proclamation that we need to celebrate this month, Black History. You cannot excel in a country you hate. You can't. And how do I separate it? This is how I separate it, because I don't allow race to destroy my logic. Okay? I understand history. So when somebody hits me with the, how could you say you love America? What about 3/5 of a human being? Am I considered 3/5 of a human being today? No. And even when they put that in there back in the day, it was about voting. And everyone in the government didn't agree with it. If all of them back in the day agreed with it, if all white people agreed with slavery back in the day, you'd still be slaves. Point blank, period. All of them, and you can say, oh, well, because you got the super smart, smarty-arty Negroes that say, well, Lincoln didn't free the slaves because it was righteous. He did it for economic reasons. Who gives a shit? Every white person did not agree with that shit. But see, the difference is I know how to separate the flawed individuals in a system from the soil. I know how to separate individuals who are bad actors from the Constitution, from the Bill of Rights, from the Declaration of Independence, from the American flag, from America itself. But see, the problem is, just like with red pill, right? The same way you got guys up here that are red pill raging and they can't get out of that state of mind, you niggas are racism raging. You're still walking around mad about slavery and Jim Crow. And it has hindered your ability to be an American to the full extent of your capabilities. Because guess what? If all of you operated like that, you wouldn't fall for all of this bullshit. You would be able to rise. You would be able to excel. You know how we know that? Because we see it in individual black people. We see it in the individual black people that don't fall for the bullshit. We see it in individual black people that push off all of that shit. Yeah, it happened. Yeah, it was messed up. But I'm not going to let something that happened hundreds of years ago or 100 years ago or even 50 years ago, I'm not going to allow that to dictate how I live my life today. That would be crazy. But there's a lot of you Negroes that are still race raging. You mad about slavery and your ass was never a slave. You mad about Jim Crow and not one white person in your entire lifetime has looked you in your face and called you boy or nigger. You don't experience what your forebears experienced. And even as they experienced it, they accomplished more than you accomplished. That speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. Golden Spark said 3/5 was about treatment. No, it wasn't. See, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about because you've never actually read history. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. This is the reason why, you know what, I'm going to tell you something else black people do. You run around acting like you was the only people that were slaves. You know why? Because in addition to having a inferiority complex, you also have narcissistic personality disorder. In other words, you think everything is about you. You think everything is about your black ass. You think that they enslaved you because they hate you. They enslaved you because it was an opportunity to get some free labor. The same way other groups of people enslaved people. Same way. It was human nature. It was tribalism. It was, we've defeated this tribe. Let's utilize the men by enslaving them to have them do work for us. We've been doing that since the beginning of time. We've been doing that since the beginning of time. What do you think the Moors were doing to the Europeans in Spain? Or maybe you never read Othello. Maybe you never read Othello. And how Othello was a military leader and he had his own slaves that were white, that were European. Like, you niggas don't know what you're talking about. You were slaves in America for 400 years, or supposedly 400 years. I don't even think it was 400 years. Meanwhile, the Irish were slaves for 1,000 years. When the Vikings invaded England, they enslaved a lot of the English people. King Longshanks, when he invaded Scotland, he instituted prima nocta. He tried to breed the Scots out. Anytime a person of Scottish descent got married, an Englishman was allowed to sleep with their wife on the wedding night before the husband. We ain't even gonna go into what the English did to the Irish, what the French did to the Haitians, or what the Spaniards did to the indigenous people of Puerto Rico.
Affirmative action. Let's just keep that a being, right? Most of the people that you had that was politicians or whatever, you know what I'm saying, during affirmative action, they was pretty much level-headed. It just kept people, you know what I'm saying, from just actually doing goofy shit in open. Because I'll be honest with you, right? Look, I think people are naturally racist. I think people are naturally tribal. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it's going to be. If you don't have a system in place to analyze that, what you're going to have is you're going to really see not just that people is just necessarily just fucked up people, but they preference. You will see people preference come out. You will see people say, I would prefer to be around this type of person. So guess what? I'm going to put myself around that type of person.
Good.
See, when you remove
Exactly.
that, when
Good.
you remove that buffer,
Good. I don't want to remove
It ain't
that.
no good.
I
No,
don't.
why?
It is good.
Juicy?
It is good. And I'm going to tell you why,
Why?
it's good. It's
No.
good. It's good because if as long as you got that going on, look, if you go back to Jim Crow, right? When white people was on their segregation shit, you know what that caused black people to do? What did that cause black people to do? It caused black people to say, you know what? Fuck they shit. We gonna do our own thing.
yes.
What you talk
Okay.
about, like
That's
Black
not
Wall Streets and stuff?
look, I'm not advocating for racism. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what was happening.
Let me finish. Let me finish what I'm saying. And see, this is what the problem is. Niggas don't want to listen. Logic said, you know, if you don't have affirmative action and stuff like that in place, right, then you're going to have people being more racist or tribal. Me, I prefer tribal because that's really what it is. It's tribalism. People want to be around their own tribe, whatever that tribe may be. And in this day and age, you see different tribes that extend past race. Okay? You got the Skittle Squad. That's a tribe that consists of people of multiple genders and multiple races and all of that. But they're a tribe onto themselves. You feel me? Light-skinned people would be a tribe if we stopped being light-skinned apologists and got our shit together. Dark-skinned people are a tribe. Okay? Christians are a tribe. Right? People that are atheists are a tribe. We now live in a society where things go past just the racial lines. You have people that are being tribal. They want to be around people that are like them. Right? Of course, it was based on color when we were more primitive. We're not as primitive as we were back then. Nobody wants to acknowledge this. Okay? So they're saying when you don't have that in place, people's preference is going to come out and they're going to want to be around the people they want to be around. Good. What are we supposed to do? Put legislation in place to force people to be around people they don't want to be around? That's what integration was about, and that's the main reason why you had race riots and all that foolishness. Not to mention the fact that trying to preemptively force that situation is probably what caused the continuing racism after, instead of allowing it to organically happen. Nobody ever thinks about that. What would have happened if it would have been allowed to organically happen? But see, this is what niggas want to do. Niggas don't want to be forced to do anything, but they want to force everybody else to do something. Against racism. But black people got to stop allowing racism to dictate how we operate and how we move in every aspect of our lives. Okay? When it comes to you know, this sort of forced thing where it's like, okay, there's too many white people in this arena or in this business, we got to put black people in there. That causes black people not to ever want to have their own shit.
But what you missing my? But you, wait. I think you're talking like niggas in the hood, right? So I gave the example of the military. So what you saying, niggas should just go get their own military?
No, I'm not talking about the military. I'm talking about private sector. I'm talking about business.
But yeah, because when we're talking about this, a lot of this stuff, it starts with the federal government, and it's sprinkled down. And like I said, you can't sit here and say, "Oh, I'm gonna just get my own military." No, the thing is that when you started looking at affirmative action, it had positive impacts on the military. Well, but now when they took it and got goofy with DEI and all that shit, now we end up losing everything.
Okay, but logic.
Hey, hold on. Let me read this super chat. Shout out to Shiesty Bond for a $5 super chat. She said, now we get to see what black men gonna do. Let's see if they are the leaders they claim they are. This y'all big one. We watching. Shout out to Shiesty Bond.
Actually, no, that ain't got shit to do with black men, because most black men did not benefit from DEI. It actually was white women that benefited from DEI.
So my thing is with affirmative action. This is my thing. This is my thing. My mom was the only one in her family.
Now watch this. Now here's one of the things that I was complaining about. Now, if you notice, I was talking and this chick just completely interrupted me. Just completely interrupted me, like I wasn't even talking.
They got a college degree. This is my thing. She got a college degree. This is my thing.
Hold on, Just Me. Hold on, Just Me. He was gonna go, and then you could go after him. Go ahead, Angryman.
Sweet Jesus.
He is sweet, ain't he? Go ahead, Angryman. My bad.
I don't even remember what I was gonna say, bro.
You was responding to Logic about affirmative action. He was talking about the military. It's come from the he was giving the example of it's government top down.
That's what I was gonna say. Here's the thing, Logic. I have a great deal of respect for the military. So unlike most civilians who never been in the military, I try not to talk about what go on in the military. So I just gotta take your word for it. You feel what I'm saying?
It's just not the military. It's the federal side in general.
Okay, so federal government, all of that. I get that. But what I'm talking about is the side effects of placing Black people in certain places. There is a side effect to it, and we try to pretend like we don't know the side effect. It's the bigotry of low expectations. It's the idea that Black people have to be put in certain places because they can't get there off of merit. Now, I get what you're going to say. What you're going to say is, well, white people can use merit as the excuse not to allow Black people to get in certain places. I get that.
Yeah.
But that's the conundrum of it. That's where the problem comes in, because, okay, cool. If you got white people being racist and they're not allowing Black people to get into certain places that qualify to get in those places, yes, that's very problematic. But as you see, when affirmative action transforms into DEI, you end up with Black people in positions that are obviously not qualified for those positions. And in my personal opinion, that helps racist white people, because they can sit back and say, see what happens when you put niggas in certain positions? They don't know what the hell they doing.
And I'm with you. But that's not the overlapping point that I was making on it, though, is that affirmative action was a thing to keep people honest. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't say, okay, we promoted 27 sergeant majors and all of them is white. You need to explain this to me. You see what I'm saying? It need to be external review to look at these records to see. So now it was
Now, what he just said is a valid point. That's a valid point. But here's the problem. What happens if you got those 20-some people that were promoted to sergeant major that are white, and then you go do a review and you find out that there wasn't a single Black person that had a record that qualified for them to be a sergeant major? Are you going to let it go? Are you going to fall back and say, you know what? Us brothers got to do better? No. That's not what's going to happen, because the thought of being able to claim racism or victimhood in order to get something that benefits you, that's a power move. And power corrupts. But absolute power corrupts absolutely. So that's where the problem comes in. What happens if you find out? What happens if you do a review and you find out, guess what? The reason there's no niggas in this position is because you didn't qualify on merit. Are you going to be willing to admit, damn, we got to step our game up? No, you're not. You're going to want to balance that shit out by putting people in those positions, whether they qualify or not. And something like that being done over a 20 or 30 year period will actually degrade whatever organization, whatever company, whatever institution you're doing that in. All for the sake of equality. And see, here's the funny thing. You want to know the reason why China is kicking our ass when it comes to innovation when it comes to growth? Because most of the people in China are Chinese. They don't have this issue. They don't have this issue. Their entire country is not made up of a melting pot of multiple races and multiple beliefs and ideologies and shit. And until we figure out a way to solve this problem, instead of putting a Band-Aid on it, we're going to continue to decline. We're going to continue to decline. If we allow the race baiters and the victimhood Olympics to continue on, we are staring down the barrel of the collapse of the American experiment. So I get it. I get what Logic is saying about affirmative action. Yes, there should be some oversight. But instead of making legislation that forces people to place black, female, Skittle Squad, you should be smarter about it. You should be smarter about it. You should figure out a way to where there can be oversight to make sure that equal employment opportunity is being followed. You feel me? Because that's really what it is. Like the problem is, look, the problem is we should be striving for equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. See, equality of opportunity is anybody can join the military. Anybody can work for this company. But equality of outcome is, oh, we got 20 white sergeant majors. We need to have 20 black sergeant majors. What happens if you don't have 20 black men that qualify to be a sergeant major? And I'm just using that as an example. I don't know how any of that works in the military. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just using it as an example to make you think. You feel me?
System in place to keep it honest, right?
You saying it was like a referee in the game?
Right. Yep.
A referee in the game.
Yeah, like a referee is there to keep the players honest, you know, to keep them from violating and
I guess you could utilize that. Yeah, it was there. But what happened now is that now you had so much goofy shit they put. I'm gonna use your analogy. They just throwing all kind of goofy shit on the court, right? And now they said, fuck it, take all that goofy shit out, right? Nigga, that referee, nigga, you got that. Hey, the referee, nigga, you suspect. You gone too. So right now ain't shit. Right now it's back to just niggas playing, and you gotta trust niggas to be honest, to sit here and make the right calls and respect niggas' calls. Cause that's where it's at now. Right now we're in the system that we gotta be in, that we gotta say, okay, this is what happened. We trust and we gotta respect the people that's doing what they supposed to be, and you know that's not gonna operate right.
Well, here's the thing though, Logic. At the end of the day, the jury's still out on how that's gonna play out now that DEI has been removed and all of that. Because let's be real about it. The Equal Employment Act of 1972 is still in place. So if you have black people that are going into certain arenas and competing and actually good at what they do and they're not getting promoted, they still can raise hell about it. There's still this shit can be done about it. So it's not like we're going completely back.
What I'm telling you,
Jim Crow.
They were viewing when they knocked it out, right? They just said everything on pause. They even reviewing EO. I mean, you know EO is equal opportunity.
Yeah, equal opportunity. Now, I'm not in the military, so I don't know. Maybe they're reviewing it to see if people were practicing fair practices. Because guess what? He said they're reviewing equal opportunity in employment, right? This is what kills me. Every time they start examining stuff like this, they always look at it from the position of they must be trying to do this to hurt black people. Has it ever crossed your mind that maybe they're reviewing equal employment opportunity because white guys were not promoted? For the sake of, because this is the side of it that you never want to talk about. What happens when white guys who are qualified get snubbed in order to promote someone else because of their identity, because they're black, or because they're part of the Skittle Squad, or because they're women? That goes against equal opportunity employment. So of course they would have to review that too.
They reviewing everything, right? Because of the goofiness.
Yeah. And look, I'm gonna be clear. There's a lot of companies today that have made it clear they are not trying to hire or promote white, straight men. I've seen it numerous times across the board. There was a video that came out with one of the executives of Disney. And they said in their meetings, they say flat out, they're not trying to put a white male actor that's straight in any lead roles. They flat out said it. Now, what happens is black folk and women will think that's fair because they feel like white men have had privilege for so long. But that's not fixing anything. That's not fixing anything. If you look historically at what white men were able to benefit from back in the day, and you use that to punish a white guy today, that's not fair. I don't care what you think about that. That's not fair. That white guy never owned any slaves. That white guy didn't come up in the Jim Crow era. None of that. And you can't fix prejudice by being more prejudiced. You can't say, okay, y'all was prejudiced for X amount of years. Now we're going to be prejudiced on the other side for X amount of years. That doesn't fix anything. It just changes hands. It just changes it from the white guy being privileged to the black person or the woman or the Skittle Squad person being privileged, which is what we're looking at right now. Which is why Donald Trump signed what he signed, which is why you see black folks mad now, because like I've said so many times, black people don't want fairness, they want their turn. And there's a difference. There's a difference between wanting to be fair and wanting your turn. You understand? A lot of black people want their turn at being privileged. They want to be able to experience all of the things that white men were able to experience during Jim Crow. In other words, they want to play tit for tat, which is very feminine, okay? If you're trying to balance out the world, you balance the world out with righteousness. You don't balance it out with tit for tat. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. When you got them hiring people that are mentally disabled to be air traffic controllers,
Right.
Yeah,
like,
that's
what are we
crazy.
talking about?
But
I told Freeze.
but
I
you-
told Freeze. Hey, look, wait,
but
I'm just saying this real fast.
affirmative
Just that.
action is not that. That's not what affirmative action was about, though.
No,
But
but
we
I'm
talking about the
DEI.
overcorrection of it. This is
Yeah.
what you got to realize. See, y'all black women was so retarded that y'all was cheering on this DEI shit, thinking that it was gonna get y'all more leeway. And I'm just saying
Well, I
this,
ain't know.
right?
Let me
And
tell you this. Let me tell you this, and I'm gonna keep this real. I ain't know nothing about no DEI until about
well,
3-4
I'm
weeks
not
ago.
talking about you there, ma'am.
Okay,
If you didn't
but
know,
I
I
know
can't
that
be talking about you.
but what I do know is that my mother benefited off of affirmative action because
Okay, well,
she went
you
to
just
college
said,
and she got her 4-year college degree, and she came up
ma'am,
against white
we're
women
talking
who
about
didn't have a college
DEI.
degree. Okay,
Oh my
well, that's
God.
no. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was trying to get in before. Because y'all
No,
have gone further
listen.
when Angry
I
Man was
just
talking
sit
about
here and
affirmative
was.
action.
I'm gonna
I
let you
know,
go out
and
the logic. Let's be go ahead, logic.
I just went into and said that no, I disagree with Angry Man about affirmative action. I said
Well,
that
that's what I
I
was
think.
trying to get in, but okay, go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
yeah, but
Okay,
we
go
had
ahead. I'm
moved
sorry.
on and
Go
we had
ahead.
started talking about the
Okay.
DEI.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to get in, but go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And half urban. He said AM will never blame white men. You right. The only person I blame for my problems is the nigga looking back at me in the mirror, and that's why I'm not broke like you, nigga.
All right, I forgot what I was gonna say. All right, you can go ahead now. Just Jay windmilling and then Angry Man windmilling with
I'm
the nigga in the
sorry.
chat.
It's just me,
God
nigga.
damn, just me.
Slow
So,
me,
so,
nigga.
so
Slow.
wait. So I'm trying to figure out. I know what you saying, logic. You saying you felt like affirmative action was appropriate. You feel like affirmative action was
I
appropriate.
think it kept people honest.
Right.
Yes,
Okay. I'm trying to figure
I
out
agree.
what Angry Man is saying. Are you saying? Because I know both of y'all agree with DEI. I know
We
both of y'all
agree with
agree.
it.
No.
No, I'm saying no. Y'all agree that it shouldn't be. It
Problematic.
should. Yes.
Oh yeah.
But I don't understand Angry Man's his place with affirmative action. Are you saying because what are you saying about affirmative action? Because I know you disagree with DEI, but
Affirmative action was implemented by Lyndon B. Johnson. And just
yeah.
like other things that Lyndon B. Johnson implemented, you see a sharp decline in the progress of Black people after he implemented those things. So what I do is I look at it and I say, okay, well, why did that implementation of that program not help Black people? Why did it cause problems for Black people? Because it created a mentality in Black people that they were entitled to something. And when you look at Black people before that, under Jim Crow, that knew they weren't entitled to something, that knew there was going to be pushback against them, they actually went harder in the paint. Now, I'm not saying that we need to be under Jim Crow. That's crazy. But there was a mentality that Black people used to have that they knew they was going to have to work hard for whatever they got. And the side effect of affirmative action, the side effect of especially DEI is that, oh, we need to be in these positions because we deserve to be in these positions because diversity or because
Right, but what were you saying? It was a decline of what? What was the decline you said when affirmative action? What was the decline in the Black people?
the decline after LBJ was in every category.
Yeah.
Every category.
So Angry Man.
He talk about just a great society as
May
a
I
whole.
respond whenever somebody finish?
Yeah, go ahead,
So
just
Angry.
me, and then just Jay. Go ahead.
So Angry Man, you say Jim Crow made Black people go harder, right?
That's not what I said. No. Now, you see how she tried to Byron Donalds me? Because they did the same shit to Byron Donalds. Are you saying Jim Crow made Black people go harder? Is that what I said? Don't do that.
Okay, what did you say? What did you say? What did you say? Just repeat what you said.
This is what Black people do. Stop.
Angry Man, I got ADHD like you. Repeat what you said, please.
Stop. If you give me a second, I will, because you're going to mischaracterize what I
Okay,
say.
please repeat what you said.
And then it's going to make people think I'm saying we were better under Jim Crow, and that's not what I'm saying. That's the same shit.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I want you to repeat what you
Just
said.
let him explain what he said. Go ahead.
Sweet Jesus. Oh my God. Listen, because they did the same shit to Byron Donalds, right? The thing is, when Black people knew that everything was against them, when they knew they weren't going to be given any preferential treatment or whatever, they went harder in the paint. Okay,
can you stop right there?
Go ahead.
That's what I wanted you to repeat. That's what I thought you said, right? They went harder in the paint, right? And so what they did was they said, you know what? I need to get an education. I need to do better for me and my family. I need, whether it's walking miles, whatever it took, I got to do better. And you know what they did? That's what they did. And because of affirmative action, and when black people did that, guess what? They were still not getting jobs. They were getting looked over. They were getting passed over. I'm telling you something. My mother, she would walk
Yes, ma'am.
miles to get, can I finish, please? She would walk miles to get a degree. She's the only person in her family that got a college education because of Jim Crow, right? This is the thing. Because of affirmative action, they looked at her and said, okay, this is a black, oh, she's black and she has a degree. So it did make black people go harder. You are absolutely right.
That's me.
But the fact that we had affirmative action, it made people look at them and say, they qualify now. We have this law in place. They qualify. Now, beyond that, I don't have any too much say in that. I'm just saying we needed affirmative action in order for people to take a look at them people that went harder.
How many times you gonna repeat the same shit?
Until you stop interrupting me. Until you stop interrupting me.
You niggas don't
until you stop.
See, and this is why, and see, what's funny to me is black men will sit their ass on the panel and allow black women to act like this. She's obviously in her feelings because I'm challenging the whole concept of affirmative action. I'm saying it's a bad thing. And she's in her feelings. You want to know why she's in her feelings? She's in her feelings because in her mind, she thinks her mother would have never been nothing without affirmative action. That's why she's in her feelings right now. That's why she's upset.
Until you stop interrupting me.
You can't yell over her. I don't know why her mic just overpower yours.
Yeah, she got a damn cheap mic. That's why. People don't understand this, yo. I can go to Walmart and get a headset mic, and it'll overpower everybody's mic. You know why? Because it's not made like the rest of these mics to where it will, if you start talking too loud, it's gonna dim the voice so that it doesn't blow the mic out.
I got me some new headphones.
Told you.
I'm sorry.
I told you.
But
she got a headset. I told you. Anytime you see somebody with a headset with the little mic on it, their mic is going to be louder than yours. And this is what niggas do. They get up there and they think because they can talk over you and their mic is louder, that means they're right.
I'm just saying, I just want to finish my statement.
And niggas are so programmed to be subordinate to black women that they refuse to correct their behavior. There's numerous times in this, like, they'll try to hit me with the, oh, you talk over everybody. No, I don't talk over everybody. I try to interject into the conversation, but when I interject, people don't stop talking. They just keep going. So because she heard me trying to interject, she kept going. She didn't have anything new to say, so she just kept repeating what she said before. Not because she was trying to get a point across, because she wanted me not to talk. She wanted me to shut the fuck up. And these niggas are sitting there acting like they're not smart enough to know that's what she's doing. It's the most annoying shit in the world. I've never allowed anybody to do that on any panel that I have. Because what you'll notice is when the rest of them are talking to each other because they agree with each other, when someone interjects, they stop talking.
I just want to finish what I was saying.
Go ahead, Just Be.
I'm telling him.
And this is why when you niggas go to white spaces to debate, they don't take you seriously. This is why they don't take you seriously, because you're not serious people. You're not. You're a bunch of damn children who have just gotten older.
He's right, Jim Crow.
And by the way, like I said, just me, the other day, and some of y'all was in there to see it. Some of y'all was over on Izzy Band's show that day when I was up there with her. Was she acting like that then? Was she acting like that then? Anybody that saw me on the panel with just me, was she acting like that then? Of course not.
Did
Angryman, Freezy. Y'all gotta cut this shit out, man.
No, listen. When she was over talking you, I told her to be quiet for you. So I'm giving her the same courtesy.
Yeah, but I think it's irritating because it sounds like she repeating the same thing.
Okay, well,
okay,
I
it
mean,
may be irritating because I ain't gonna repeat it. Okay, go with what I just said.
I'm just trying to give her the same courtesy. I'm just being a moderator. That's all.
Yeah, but if I just say ba 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 5 different times, you're like, okay, you said ba ba ba. You ain't gonna say that again.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, y'all don't want to hear it, so it is gonna be
We
ba ba ba
heard
ba.
it
Because
5 times.
I done heard y'all repeat stuff several
Wait,
times. But
hold on.
go ahead.
Wait. Just me. We heard the gist of what you had to say. Did you have anything additional to say?
That's it. No.
Okay,
So
go
she
ahead.
guess
Go
you
ahead,
want to say it
Angryman.
5 times.
Go ahead, Angryman.
You know what?
Shut up.
I ain't got shit to say because niggas still ain't learned. You ain't never gonna have shit as long as you begging white people for shit. You ain't never gonna have shit as long as you begging white folks for shit. And that's all you sat there and said. That's it.
Yeah, until the white folks take that mic from you. Until the white folks.
Until the white folks take the mic from me. Did y'all hear that? I said, y'all ain't never gonna have shit as long as you continue to beg white people for shit. And then her response is, until those white folks take that mic from you. I get it, just me. I get it. Your voice is not as big as mine here. If you went live right now to talk about how your mama had to work so hard all her life until she finally got affirmative action, you probably ain't gonna have 5 people listening to you. I get it. But that's the typical go-to thing that niggas do. This is niglet behavior 101. Until them white folks take that mic from you, what white person is going to take my mic from me that I own? What white person is going to take my microphone from me that I own? Oh, well, you don't own YouTube, and I'm still going to have the same opinion. I'm still going to have the same opinion without the mic, without being on YouTube. It's the opinion I had before I came to YouTube. This is childish. This is some childish ass shit. And then they have the nerve to wonder why no one takes anything they say seriously. No one cares what a nigga got to say.
Take that mic from you. Until the white folks take your YouTube.
Wait, just me. Go ahead. Go ahead, Angryman. I'm moderate my ass off.
You ain't never gonna have shit. Nothing. Any group of people that is dependent, any tribe that is dependent on an opposing tribe for their prosperity will never have prosperity. And you talking about, oh, well, affirmative action did this. Before affirmative action, black people owned all kinds of shit. Businesses, all types of shit.
That's a fact.
It wasn't until they implemented integration and you niggas started begging to be at the white man's table that you lost every damn thing. Go study your damn history. You don't even know what you're talking about.
So
I don't give a fair rant. I don't give a fair rant about history because
she don't care about history. You hear that? She don't care about history. She don't care about history. She don't care about history. Woo. And you'll say, well, black people got systemic problems that have been around for I don't know how long. How do you solve a problem like that? You go to the source of it, you figure out where it started. But how can you do that if you don't give a damn about history? How can you do that if you don't care about history? Like, black people will say the most ignorant shit in the world and nobody will check them on it. Do you have any idea what would happen if you were having a debate with, let's say you were on a panel with Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, hell, even Destiny. Let's say that you were on a panel with them and you said, I don't care about history. What? Excuse me? I beg your pardon? Beg your pardon? Of course you don't care about history. You don't care about reading either. You don't care about any of that shit. You don't care about any of that shit. Meanwhile, other groups of people, they care about history. They care about learning about the environment they live in. They care about learning about the animals around them. They care about learning about all of these things. Here's the reality. The reason why you niggas don't run shit is because if you ran shit, you would run it into the damn ground because you never try to learn any damn thing other than what you need for your survival. So whatever your current survival needs are, that's what you learn. So guess what? If you got running water in your house, you're not going to learn anything about how to purify water because you don't need to learn that at the moment. You do what you always do, which is the bare minimum, subpar shit, until shit hits the fan. Then when shit hits the fan, you expecting somebody else to save your black ass. You know, kind of like affirmative action. God forbid we should end up in a state where we don't have any electricity or anything. Half of you wouldn't even survive because you would go in the woods to take a shit and you probably wipe your behind with some damn poison ivy. Because you don't care about history and you don't care about, you know how many times I've been on panels with niggas that say they don't care about history, they don't care about science, they don't care about books. No wonder y'all fall for every damn thing. No wonder the Democrats can tell you they don't know what a woman is and you agree with it because you don't know shit. You don't know a damn thing. Half of you don't even know how to wipe your ass properly. But the moment somebody call you stupid, now all of a sudden, oh, that's racist. No, it's accurate.
History didn't dictate how my family lived. Let me tell you something. History,
Hold
let
on,
me tell you
wait,
something.
Oh,
History did not
man.
dictate.
Here we go.
History did not dictate how my family lived. You let YouTube take your channel, let YouTube take your microphone. You gonna be sitting there in a diaper and you doing nothing. Let me tell you.
If YouTube takes, if they take my YouTube and take my microphone, I'm gonna be sitting here in a diaper. You can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. You can't make this up.
Something. My mother worked hard for what she had. She cleaned white folks' houses, and she didn't want to do that the rest of her life. And you know she did. She went to college and she got a degree. And if it wasn't for affirmative action, she would have been passed over like some of them blonde-headed white women, right? That didn't have a degree, and they were in the position that she wanted because of affirmative action. We now have generational wealth, my guy. You will never sit on your throne.
She thinks she has generational wealth, y'all. I didn't even address that part. She thinks she has generational wealth. That's what's so hilarious. That's what's so hilarious. That's what's so hilarious. Do you realize in order to have generational wealth, you would have to at least be a billionaire in this day and age? In this day and age, in order to have generational wealth, you'd have to be at least a billionaire. At least a billionaire. Because generational wealth is the type of money you can't lose. In other words, you got so much coming in that your children don't have to work. Your children's children don't have to work. In other words, there's nothing they could do to screw it up. That's generational wealth. You feel me? If you had $100 million, right? And you pass that $100 million down to your children could fuck up that $100 million. They could screw that $100 million up. they could screw that shit up. She thinks she has generational wealth. That is the most hilarious part of it. Well, it's not the most hilarious part, but keep watching.
Wrong, and tell me that affirmative action didn't work for my.
She said, "Look, and see, I told y'all there's jealousy." There's jealousy. She said, "You're not going to sit there on your throne. A minute ago, I was in a diaper. Now I'm on a throne."
How my family lived. Let me tell you something. History did not dictate. History did not dictate how my family lived. You let YouTube take your channel. Let YouTube take your microphone. You're going to be sitting there in a diaper and you doing nothing. Let me tell you something. My mother worked hard for what she had. She cleaned white folks' houses, and she didn't want to do that the rest of her life. And you know she did. She went to college, and she got a degree. And if it wasn't for affirmative action,
watch, I'm going to really piss off with this next statement.
Would have been passed over like some of them blonde-headed white women, right? That didn't have a degree, and they were in the position that she wanted. Because of affirmative action, we now have generational wealth, my guy. You will never sit on your throne and tell me that affirmative action didn't work for my family. You'll never tell me that. You can say what you want to say. You let me tell you something. You can kiss up to the white man, and you cannot take advantage of your.
I can kiss up to the white man. You heard what she said? She said, you can kiss up to the white man if you want to. BINO Nation, how is me saying that black people shouldn't be begging white people for things? They should be building their own and earning their own. How is that kissing up to white people? Does that make any type of shit? Breadman said these type of folks are the real racist. Facts. That's facts. That's facts. That's facts. And when they get angry, you hear it. It comes out. It comes out.
I don't give a fat rat, but let him take your mic and let him take your channel.
Wait, just me. I don't want to keep running on. Okay. Go. Angryman, if you want to respond, I want just because I got to get just Jay. Go ahead.
First of all, before I got this mic, I actually was doing something. And guess who ain't never cleaned white folks' houses? Nobody in my goddamn family. So
That's your family.
Oh,
Good for your family. That's good for your family.
Wait, let's keep it
Because
clean.
if they weren't clean,
Let's keep it clean. Go
they
ahead.
probably was laying it low and spreading
Oh,
it.
just me. Let's keep it clean.
oh no.
Now, what she was getting ready to say, laying it low and spreading it. So basically, she was getting ready. Basically, this woman who probably would advocate for women, she was getting ready to say that the women in my family probably was giving it up simply because I said my family didn't have to clean houses for white folk. She's offended by that. See how upset she got? See how angry she got when I said that?
No.
Even Muse didn't like that. You see her down there moving and stuff? She didn't like that either. She didn't like that shit either.
Go
Here we
ahead.
go again.
Damn.
So
You ain't right.
again,
Hey, Freeze, you ain't right though, cause he be cutting off too though. So I mean, just let the women do it.
But I'm telling both of them
now here it come. Here come logic. He be cutting her off too. BINO Nation. From what you just saw, who was cutting off who more? From what you just saw, who was cutting off who more? Who's in their feelings more, and who's trying to personally attack someone because they don't agree with them? Who's doing that? Thank you very much. They thought I wasn't gonna review this shit today.
When I tell Angryman let her talk, he has been letting her talk. When I
No,
ask
he
him
ain't.
to.
Nigga, look at the replay. How much on the bet? Both of them been women at each other.
Yeah, but it's getting out of hand.
Oh, okay.
So now is the time that I want to advertise Logic's windmill force fields that are for sale. Be sure to contact him, hit him up on Instagram, windmill force fields. And he also have the windmill force field that you can put on when you're in bed, and it protects you while you're in bed as well. I just want to put that out there.
And y'all might as well get ready, because now that Trump is in office and making significant changes to the way our country is, you're going to see a lot more of this. You're going to see a lot more of these Negroes losing their minds. Because think about it like this. Let me ask y'all a question. In America, who is the biggest employer of American citizens? Who's the biggest employer of American citizens? The government. The government. And Doge and President Trump has been cutting government jobs like it's going out of style. In the black community, who do you think has the most government jobs in the black community due to affirmative action and DEI? In the black community, who are the recipients of the most government jobs? Yeah. Now you understand why she's so mad. In other words, winter is here. Winter is here. Winter is here, good sir.
Y'all got it. Ding, ding.
I need all of it. Give me all of it.
For the black
All
women.
of them.
Go ahead. Okay. So
Let me tell you something, Logic. Let me tell you something. Y'all need to kill that angry man shit. The only voices that always get to overtalk everybody is black women in this motherfucker. So
Well, call me angry woman. How about that?
cut it the fuck
Call
out.
me angry woman. How about that?
The only people on
Oh,
YouTube that get to talk over everybody consistently and rarely get checked about it are black women. Stop it, Logic.
No, bro, stop. You rewind this. You
Stop.
rewind this.
Rewind,
Every time.
motherfucker.
No. I ain't saying you
Rewind.
want. No. Oh, wait. Hey, look. How much you on the bet?
Rewind it.
And
Rewind.
look, she cut you off when you talk, and I guarantee you cut her off when she talk.
Rewind it.
Rewind this bitch, please.
No, we don't got to rewind it because that's true. Both of them have been cutting each other off,
We know it.
that's why I say, hold on, okay, Angryman, let just me talk. Hold on, just me, let Angryman talk. What's going on right now is a lot of spirit. The spirit is rising high. The spirit rising high right now. So that's what it's a little different right now.
Bet you right now, Logic, that you're gonna find numerous instances in the replay where just me has been able to complete her full thought. She's been able to talk at length. But every time I respond to her, when I'm 1 or 2 sentences in, she interrupts me. You want to bet money on it?
Yeah.
Is that accurate? Press 1, everybody, if that was accurate. The statement I just made, press 1 if that's accurate. She's been able to talk at length, but the moment I start talking, she immediately interrupts me. Logic, if you watching this, you owe me $100. If you watching this, Logic, you owe me $100.
Yeah, I bet. How much?
$100.
Yeah. No, fuck that. Let's do 5. Cause
That's
I'm
right.
telling you, I'm nigga. I didn't called it out. I didn't tell her. I said, hey, just let him finish. And then she'll let you finish. She said, oh, okay, you right. I ain't gonna say she ain't cut you off, but she'll turn around and say one thing, and you disagree, and you immediately jump in.
Rewind.
I don't think y'all need to. Yeah, I don't think y'all
No,
need to.
you don't think
He's literally accusing me of what she's doing. He's literally accusing me of what she's doing.
man should lose that bread?
Rewind.
No, call it nigga, call it right.
Rewind.
And look, and I don't even agree. I agree mostly with you, but I'm just saying, I think you do the same thing.
Rewind.
I'm just curious how long we gonna talk about how both of them cut each other off. So y'all wanna give out an award? Who got cut off the most? What's going on? And then they put you in, and then they put Freezy in the middle of it, and then Freezy be trying to go like this here, by motherfuckers be like
That's why I'm being quiet. I'm
let's
being
keep the
quiet right
conversation
now.
going. The conversation
Keep the
good.
conversation going.
So
Yes.
Angry Man, look at
That's
me.
my dog, man.
Angry Man.
Keep being quiet because I'm not talking. That's
Angry Man. I want to keep talking. Thank you.
Everybody want a windmill.
He want to mush me in the face. Look how he looking at me. Don't treat me like
Nigga,
that.
Logic, you been windmilling too, nigga.
I ain't gonna. If you
I'm
say I'm
looking at Logic.
windmilling,
Logic
if you
is
say I cut niggas off, I ain't gonna deny it.
He's sophisticated and he know what he's doing. He always doing that shit with me.
No, I'm not, man.
Yeah, you are.
Bro. I enjoyed this dialogue though.
Because here's the thing. And this is the type of shit I be talking about that niggas be doing. It's only niggas that do this shit. She just got through telling y'all that her mama had to clean white folks' houses. Ain't nobody in my family clean no white folks' houses, but she telling me I'm sucking up to white people.
Yeah. I don't agree with her. I don't agree with her.
You doing it
I'm
now?
telling you, I think she said some crazy shit. I know.
I think you suck up to black people.
I'm literally talking about black people having their own. Then she said, I'm sucking up to black people. Doing for self and being self-sufficient instead of begging white folks for something. And you talking about sucking up to white, that don't even make logical sense.
So let me say this, because I've been listening. All right. Hard as it sound. I've been listening. So you did raise a point about integration, Angryman. You said that black folk begged for integration and we finally got what we wanted, and it serves us a disservice. Is the major problem integration, or was it affirmative action? Because affirmative action was just a subset of integration.
Problem was all of Lyndon B. Johnson's bullshit.
Okay. No, because we was concentrating on affirmative action. You see what I'm saying?
That's part of it. It's in conjunction with all. There was a number of things he did around that time. Like right around the time that they implemented the Voters Act of 1965. During that same time, while he was doing that, he also overhauled the criminal justice system and created what we now know as the criminal justice system, where you have this revolving door that seems to target urban sinners and urban youth, which we all know translates into basically black people. So you have this implementation of the welfare system. You have the implementation of this new way of policing people that was targeted mostly at black people. Then you have these other things he implemented that are under the guise of helping black people, but it didn't really help black people because it had some negative side effects. And we refuse to acknowledge those negative side effects, because the way it works with black people is as long as we're getting something that we think is helping us, we completely ignore the side effects. We ignore the bullshit that comes with it.
Right.
But can I?
Just me. Let me mind this out. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Now, here's the thing. When she's talking about her, now that was a moment where I was getting interrupted again. Notice Logic didn't say anything. Freezy said something, but Logic was quiet. See, this, and I hate to use the word pick, but whenever I go on panels, people love to pick with me. Like they love to nitpick with me. It's really annoying. It's one of the things that you experience in the black community when you're a child, where someone will nitpick with you and then they'll pretend like they're not doing anything. It's literally the definition of gaslighting. You know, they accuse you of shit that other folks are doing to you. You know, and then when you defend yourself, it's like, oh, you just crying, you just, you know, and it's, anybody in here that is black, that is more prone to being conservative. When you were a kid, you were more conservative minded. You just didn't know it at the time, right? If you've ever experienced that, you know exactly what I'm talking about when you get around a bunch of liberal minded Negroes. They all team up together. And then they all gaslight you together. And because it's more of them than you, they can pretend that they're in the right. And the sad part is, you can't really, there isn't a word for that you can accuse them of, right? But if one of those individuals were to go to a conservative space, which they don't do, I don't know if y'all noticed that. A conservative black person will go to a space where there are liberal black people and challenge them and debate them and go back and forth with them. But them liberal-minded Negroes, they will never show up in a conservative space. Ever. And if they happen to do that, if they happen by some miracle to wander into a conservative space, all they're going to do is accuse everybody of being racist or accuse everybody of being coons and sellouts. Her mother maybe did benefit from affirmative action. Cool. And we would have got there if she hadn't started on that bullshit that she was on, talking about me sitting on my throne and all that goofy ass shit. But the problem is, for every person that you see that's benefiting from that, you also have a bunch of black people that's not benefiting from that because they don't have the work ethic of her mama. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay, I understand what you're saying. What I'm asking you is, being that integration did pass, right? We did enter into integration. Would you agree after that there was some safety nets that was needed for black folk?
Let me matter of fact, let me just play this. Of course, you would have to have a safety net because now you've taken a group of people that were already disenfranchised, already in a certain situation, and then you took those people, you took a group of people and you put them in an arena, in a space with another group of people that hated them. So you got to implement all of those things, because now you got them all together. You forced them to be together. You feel?
And I think that's what.
So at that point in the discussion, I was frustrated, so it was hard for me to mine out my thoughts. But let me break this down. It's like when you take a kid that is excelling, doing well in a public school system in the inner city, and through affirmative action or whatever type of goofy programs, you take that kid out of that school and then you put them in a white school that has higher learning standards. And now that kid is struggling. Now that kid is getting C's instead of A's. You didn't help that kid. You put him at a disadvantage. Because now, instead of him being an A student, he's going to be a C student. Okay? Which is going to hurt his chances of getting into college. As opposed to him being in that public school, getting A's. At least when he applies to go to college, he has a record of good grades. Now, if you want to solve the disparity, if you're looking at the white school and they have higher standards, and you're looking at the public school that's in the inner city that's predominantly black and they have lower standards, if you want to solve it, you don't solve it by taking the best and the brightest out of that public school in that black school and putting them in a white school, and in the white school, the white kids are outperforming them. That's not how you solve that. How you solve it is you raise the standards of the public school that's in the inner city, that's the black school. You raise the standards so that it's on par with the white school that has higher standards. That's how you fix that. Instead of this artificial bullshit that people do that makes them feel better. That's all it is. You're doing shit to make you feel better. The politicians are throwing you a bone. Oh, you're mad because this Ivy League white school is churning out these people that go on to have these great professions. Why aren't there any black kids there? So in order to feel better, you go grab some black kids from a school that's doing extremely worse when it comes to their standards, and then you sprinkle them in that school and watch them flounder. But you feel better. Black folk feel better because now this white school has some black people in it. How the hell does that help black people? The answer is it doesn't. It doesn't. If you want to help black people, raise the damn standards for black people. Affirmative action and DEI actually lowers the standards for black people. This is logic. This makes perfect sense. But the reason why niggas don't agree with it is because they don't want to have to work harder. They don't want to have the standards raised. They just want the handout. They just want to be given something.
I think that's what logic was said as far as affirmative action.
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing the purpose of affirmative action. I get it. This is why I said to him, I disagree with it. I understand why it was done, but I disagree with it. Now, the reason why I disagree with it is because whenever we see programs implemented where you kind of force black folk onto white folk, there's always a negative reaction or a negative side to it. And I'm not even talking about the white folk. I'm talking about the black folk that didn't get the mentality of CJ 80 to Bain said, no, bro, they know we don't understand their education. We don't learn the same. That is not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's absolutely not true. It's not true. Now, if you look at standardized tests, there were some disparities in the standardized tests where you're asking questions that white kids would be more familiar with than black kids because there's a cultural difference, right? There's disparities there. But when it comes to science, mathematics, and things of that nature, there is no racial disparity. Math is math. Science is science. Okay? The language arts is the language arts. You niggas got to stop making excuses. You got to stop making fucking excuses. You got to stop. You got to stop. You got to cut it out. You got to cut it out. Y'all have taken that one instance of the standardized test disparity and you're trying to apply it across all education. And it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Entitlement, even if you feel they deserve it because of the history of Jim Crow and all of that, you still have to acknowledge that it creates a certain mindset. It's kind of like when people get welfare, right? When people first started getting welfare, there were a lot of people that needed it. But we still got to examine the effects of it once they get the welfare, and then you start looking at how it affects the community, where you're basically bird feeding people. And it keeps them in a state where they are constantly dependent on you instead of being able to thrive, instead of being able to get more out of life. That's
okay. Just Jay, you next.
Yo, niggas, I'm gonna tell you something right now. In that discussion, while I was discussing it, I came to a realization. The realization that I came to is that you could explain this shit 6 ways to Sunday. The reason why black people won't comprehend it is not because they are incapable of comprehending. They're capable of comprehending this. They can't see past their victimhood. You feel me? They refuse to acknowledge it because they are too entrenched in victimhood. They're too entrenched in the idea of getting something that they feel is owed to them. This is the reason why I said if I was the supreme leader of black people, I would force, if you gave me a generation of young kids, right? Let's say I bought a abandoned military base, right? And I created a community in that military base, kind of like the Amish, where we separate ourselves from the rest of society, right? We don't have any television, we don't have any internet, we just have books, right? And we're just living there. We're growing our own crops. We have our own water supply, all of that stuff. If I was the leader of that group, I wouldn't teach those children anything about slavery. I wouldn't teach them shit about slavery. At least not for the first years of their lives. Not until they're in their teens that I would actually start teaching them about slavery. And the reason why is because by the time I start to teach them about slavery, they've already developed mentally in other areas and victimhood wouldn't set in. And they wouldn't have the mentality of something is owed to me. That's the biggest problem with black people. The biggest problem with us is we think we're owed something because of slavery and because of Jim Crow. And there are arguments that can be made for that. I'm not even going to sit here and say we're not owed anything. Okay? The problem isn't whether we are or aren't owed anything. The problem is the mentality that comes with the thought process that we're owed something. That's the problem. The side effect that comes from us thinking that we should be given something that we don't have to work for. And the way we justify it is we say, well, our forebears worked for it. No. Look at what it's done to us. Look at what it's done to the black community. Look at what everything LBJ implemented has done to the black community. I literally did a show for you guys where I showed you every category of black life was going up until you get to the late 60s with LBJ. Once you get to the late 60s, you see black people peak, and then you see everything start going down like this. Every category. And the common denominator is entitlement. That is the common denominator. Now, some of you will say, well, white people are entitled too. Yeah, to a degree. But you cannot, now you're comparing apples and oranges. Okay? Because there's a couple of things, you're not in the same boat. There are way more white people than you. Okay? They have had the seat of power for an extremely long time, which means that there are a lot of white people that can afford to be entitled. You can't afford to be entitled because you have too much work to do. You're behind. You understand? It's like if you're racing, if you're running, right? If white people had a head start, they can afford to stop in the middle of the race and talk to people in the stands. You can't afford to do that. You can't afford to do that. You have to catch up. You got to catch up. You cannot afford to do that. You're behind. And some of you would even argue that you got weights on you. So you damn sure can't lollygag. You can't say, and this is why anytime, black people say, well, white people do it too. Shut the hell up. This ain't about them. It's about you and what you need to do. You cannot continue to use white people, racism, Jim Crow, prejudice as your excuse. You cannot keep using it as an excuse. Yeah, all of that exists, but it can't be your excuse.
ZT Den, shout out to you for your $5 super cap.
So, okay, so I'm not gonna get into the politicking of the whole affirmative action thing, but what I will say, right, and I guess I'm also curious, right, for affirmative action to not have even taken place, right, to me, that would mean that this country would have to totally disregard, not acknowledge atrocities, disparities, and all the shit that came with.
CJ802 Bain said the grid goes down soon, AM. Man, somebody kick him out of here, please. Somebody kick him out of here. Please kick him out of here. Please kick that goofball out of here. Please. Please.
It's systematic oppression. To me, it's not about living in that. And I think it's a fine line, right? And like I talked about before, if we take time to read up on learned helplessness, it's a thing, right? And that's a byproduct of systematic oppression. But for that to not exist, affirmative action, right? For that to not exist, that would mean that this country would have to totally disregard all the bullshit that happened. And to me, that is insulting within itself. I'm just trying to figure out how that works. And I'm thinking from a different aspect. You feel me? My thought process is coming from, excuse me, my thought process is coming from a different aspect. You know what I'm saying? Just like with reparations, right? Whether you agree with it or not, right? The reason it won't happen is because if it happens, they have to acknowledge. They have to acknowledge, right? This is why these conversations be goofy when you talk about others and whatever, because people don't want to acknowledge. You see what I'm saying? You can have people come from wherever, get all kind of bills passed, yada yada, et cetera, when it comes to us, right? Part of that learned helplessness and part of it is religious conditioning to feel like you don't deserve a thing. To Logic's point, it was fucking earned. It wasn't no handout. It was fucking earned. Now, I do think that entitlement is an issue, but that is a byproduct of systematic oppression, and it is a fine line. So y'all got it.
I think what you're speaking to. I think what you're speaking to is the purposefully disenfranchisement of Black folk, even before affirmative action, even before Jim Crow. Right? There's a pattern of racism that's been implemented towards Black folk since we got here, right? And I think that we will be negligent to dismiss that. Now, I understand about the pull yourself up by your own bootstrap sentiment, and don't rely on anybody but yourself, and build your own infrastructure and everything, right?
Right. For you.
I'm just trying to get us to look at this whole thing from a realistic scope. So you understand what I'm saying?
And respectfully, you can't build an infrastructure if you're not the moving force, right? So if we're going to go there, right, the dominating force has been, since the beginning of this country, others. Now, that doesn't mean you have to lay down, because let's be clear, we never fully laid down, because if we did, we wouldn't fucking be here. You understand what I'm saying? So I get his point as well, right? He and I can tell, like, from his conversation, he seems to get frustrated with people who lack motivation to move outside of, you know what I'm saying, this quote unquote umbrella of enabling, you know what I'm saying? At least that's what I get that's what I get from it. So I don't want to speak for you, Angryman, but it seems like it'd be frustration with that. Like, you want people to be motivated in their minds and move past what you may consider enabling, but I won't discount nor disregard different things that happen. I also want to make a point about cleaning up, you know what I'm saying, for others. I would never shame anybody who had to do that. My daddy was born in 1934. You understand what I'm saying? And so a lot of times we'll talk shit about the generation that came before us, and they got their shit just like every generation. But generations before us had a level of tenacity that none of us can fuck with. So I will never discount that. And I also have elders that cleaned up for white folks, and I would never shame shit like that, because that was their fucking environment, and they acclimated and they survived. And it was because of their tenacity that we could get up here and talk this shit. Y'all got it.
And that's what I'm saying, Just Jay. That's the thing. And that's what I'm saying. With Jim Crow, yes, you know what? I'm just using my mother as an example. There are so many people who did this. They did pull themselves up by the bootstrap, and they said, you know what? I gotta do better, right? I can't just waller in the mire. Let me put forth effort and get an education. Let me put forth effort and let me do better, right, than my counterparts. But then, you know what they saw? They saw people who didn't do what they did, getting positions and jobs, and you get what I'm saying? And now and they clean. And this is my thing. For someone to say that, who said nobody in my family ever cleaned white folks, so you don't even have the empathy or the understanding to see why she pulled her bootstraps up and did what she did. Because guess what? It sounded like you had a silver spoon put in your mouth. You
Just
you didn't
me.
have to. Okay,
Just
what?
me. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Give me a quick second because I gotta go do something.
Now you see how she interjected and just me stopped talking?
At the end of the day, we ain't talking about nobody else. So to the people in the chat that want to dismiss and discount, we not doing this fuck shit today. We ain't talking about a nail other person than the colors you see up here on this panel. So don't do that shit because it's disrespectful. And that's to the point of the disregarding and the fucking non-acknowledgement. Play with your mama. Don't start that fuck shit today. Y'all got it.
Oh no. Okay.
Shout out to Black Lexicon for the $5 super cap. Black Lexicon, appreciate you. Say, which coin represents American women? Appreciate you. Go ahead.
So, like I'm saying, what I'm saying is he has this pull yourself up by the bootstrap mentality, and that's exactly what the people in my family they did. They pulled themselves up and said, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna have to go out there and gun it and get an education. I'm gonna have to go out there and be better. I'm gonna have to do better because I want better for my family, right? And then guess what? Like I said, and I'm only repeating this because it was, I wasn't able to finish. I'm doing this, and I'm seeing people that didn't do what I did get these jobs. I'm saying only because of their skin color, right? And so that's why I say I know affirmative action is the reason why right now I have generational wealth. It's the reason why right now I have the mindset I have, and I want to set my children up, my sons up, for them to be better. So I that's what I'm not. But for him to say, "Oh, my people ain't never had to clean," you brag about that, but yet you crapping on the people who had to do it and then pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and come out of that. You want my mama to still be cleaning white folks' houses? I don't get it.
Okay, go ahead and respond, Angryman. Logic.
Yeah,
Okay, go
yeah.
ahead.
I'm just waiting
Logic,
on her to went on windmill and stuff.
logic. Did you see what just took place? See,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is
I
why, this
recognize.
is why, no, listen, I need you to understand something. This is why I can't interject. Because when I interject, people don't stop talking. If you notice, just me was talking, Muse interjected, she stopped talking. Because for some reason, when everyone else is talking, they know how to have a conversation. The moment I speak and interject, they keep talking and they say, you interrupted me. So I never get the opportunity to interject. In addition to that, whenever someone does say something to me, I have to wait until Freezy says, okay, angry man, you can respond. Because usually when I get ready to respond, I get cut off for whatever reason by somebody else. And then if I try to keep talking, I'm interrupting again. So I got her sitting up here talking to me crazy right now. Because guess what? You're never going to make me feel bad about being proud that my family didn't have to clean up for white people. You sound crazy right now. There is absolutely nothing wrong with a black person being proud that their family did not have to clean up behind white folk. And me saying that ain't got shit to do with your mama. I said it because you brought it up. You brought it up. And you said something about affirmative action and all of this shit. So no.
Well, y'all didn't have to clean up for white folks, but you stuck in the white man dick right now.
Just be. Let him finish. Go ahead. Yeah. There you go. Go ahead, Angryman.
You hear what she just said? She said, I'm sucking the white man's dick right now.
Keep talking on that mic and stay on YouTube.
That's what she said.
I ain't even hear it because I was trying to interrupt her so you can finish.
She said it.
No, I ain't said she ain't said. Yeah,
I was just letting you know she said it.
That's inappropriate.
Yeah,
That's inappropriate.
I did. It was inappropriate. It was very inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like it was inappropriate for him to sit up there and crap on people who did what they had to do in order to get out of situations. And it's the thing, y'all, as black men, y'all be
Hello,
on
wait,
YouTube.
just be. He was talking. He just stopped
Okay, go
because you.
ahead. Go ahead.
He
Okay,
stopped
okay,
because you
stop. Go
said
ahead. Go
something
ahead.
disrespectful.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
I apologize. That was disrespectful. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Anytime a black person talks from the position of black people actually having self-respect and dignity and not begging white people for shit, some kind of way that black person becomes a coon, a sellout. Oh, you sucking the white man's D. How that doesn't even make logical sense. That makes absolutely no damn sense. See, I'm starting to believe that some niggas just have more slave blood in them than other niggas. Because why the hell are you mad at me talking about the fact that my family didn't have to clean up after white folks? That don't even make sense.
What that mean? Some black people got more slave blood. That was crazy.
What it means is some black folks is proud of the fact that they had to clean up after white folk.
I don't think that's what she was saying.
To the point where she gonna get mad because I said my family didn't have to.
I think the conversation get confusing. I don't think she's proud. Are you proud that your? Oh no. I was confused. Logic. We need you to make sense out of this, please.
I can't make sense of this shit, nigga. You on your own.
No, I think.
And
what
this
she
was
was
so crazy. She said, "You talk about your family didn't have to do it, but you shitting on people that did. When did I shit on people that did?" And then she said, "Do you want my mama to have to keep clean?" I'm like, "What are you talking about, woman? What are you talking about?" And by the way, press 1 in the chat room because they said, yo, that didn't really make sense. Press 1 in the chat room if that made sense. Press 1 in the chat room if that made sense.
saying was she's taking up for affirmative action and she's happy that.
And by the way, Angela, I'm not no damn Mexican. So stop.
Wait. I think what she was saying, Angryman, was she agrees with affirmative action because it made a way for her family member to not have to be subjected to, clean up for white folks and, whatever. Yeah, I think that's is that what you were saying, just me?
That's what I was saying. I was saying that there are situations where it benefited Black people who were being overlooked, that were qualified and being overlooked for certain positions. And the fact that my mother said I didn't want to be a victim of being in a certain situation where I have to continually clean up for white folks, and that's who she was cleaning up for. And I'm not putting a color on it, but that's who she had to clean up for at Pennies for pennies. And she said, I want to do better. And she did better. She walked miles to go to college. You know what I'm saying? She had to take out loans and just her mother got fired from jobs because white folks said your daughter shouldn't be going to college. Right? And my grandmother said, you know what? I want my daughter to go to college. I want my daughter to do better. And she ate that. And my mother was able to overcome, and she was able to provide help for her family. And that's all because of affirmative action, because she saw it was white girls that didn't even have college degrees that were getting positions my mom was applying for. And so therefore, I'm not saying, Angryman, this was not a dig at you, Angryman. This was never a dig at you.
All the children wade in the water. water.
Stop, angry man. Stop.
All right.
Why you laughing, Trucker? Why you laughing,
Stop.
Trucker? Is that
Stop.
amusing to you? Is that amusing to
Oh
you, Trucker? I'm
man,
just curious. Is that
hilarious.
amusing to you?
let me ask him.
I'm
Hold
laughing
on,
because I want to laugh. Is it
No,
wrong
I'm
for me
just
to
asking. I
laugh?
just asked the question. No, I just
Hold on.
asked the question because at the end of the
I
day,
just
what I
laugh.
think this.
You see how triggered they got? Just me got so triggered, she shut up. Muse got so triggered, she turned the camera on. You think that's funny, Trucker? Do you think that's funny, Trucker? Do you think that's funny? I think it's funny.
I'm sorry, you got to freeze it.
No,
You got it.
Just Jay. Look at Just Jay. I feel you. I see it.
You got okay. You got it. You got it.
All right, I'm gonna try to clean
No,
it
I
up.
want you to go, Just Jay, but I want Logic because he been trying to get in there. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let me see this. All right. So now on the scale of what Angryman talking about with the programs.
And after that, she apologized for the comment about me sucking the white man's D, and I apologize for the inappropriate joke, the wade in the water joke, which I thought was funny as hell. But what's interesting about the rest of that conversation is they admitted that if Logic had told that joke, nobody would have had a problem with it because he's darker than me. Yeah. They actually admitted it. I don't know what point in there. I don't want to try to find it, but they actually admitted it. They actually admitted that, oh, well, part of the reason why, that joke wasn't funny, I think it's because Angryman told it, he lighter, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Because they got triggered when I started singing Wade in the Water. When I started singing Wade in the Water, I could have I had two jokes in my head that I was going to do because I just got tired of it. I just got tired of hearing it. I was either going to sing Wade in the Water, or I was going to say, all my life I had to fight. You feel me? Nobody want to hear that shit, bruh. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. Like, real talk. Like, you up there trying your best to play the victim Olympics. So my mama had to walk for miles, and so your mama walked miles every single day to go to college. Miles. Every day. Every single day. Did she what did somebody say in the chat room? Did she walk uphill both directions? Like, why is that something? Why is it? There's two things that bothers me about this. One, why is it wrong for a black person to be proud that they didn't have to clean up after somebody, as opposed to being proud that you did? Why is it her saying that I'm sucking the white man's D was not offensive to the point where people in the chat would call her out on it? Because people in the chat didn't have a problem with it. But the moment I started singing Wade in the Water, everybody in the chat room had a problem with it. How does that make sense? How does that make any logical sense? And right there, that whole situation right there is proof positive that a Negro would rather fight you, argue with you, tooth and nail to the death than to take accountability. All that because I said affirmative action and DEI is not good for black people. We should work like hell to be self-sufficient, to build for ourselves, and to do for ourselves in our communities. Because I said that, I got to be accused of sucking up to white people. I got to be accused of sucking the white man's D. I got to be called all kinds of ridiculous names. I got to be threatened with failure. Or if they take your YouTube, if they take your mic. And then we have the nerve to sit back and wonder why black people are where we are. Or excuse me, why some black people are where they are. This is typical. Any of you that are not used to this behavior, this is typical of the black community. This is typical. I've experienced this my entire life. So if you're wondering, well, Angryman, why would you tell an inappropriate joke? Why would you make fun of the plight of black people? I'll tell you why. Because after I've gotten to the ripe old age that I'm at right now, I'm sick of niggas. I spent years as a youngin' keeping these thoughts in my head, not saying them out loud. I've spent years as a youngin' getting verbally beat up by black people that wanted to make excuses for their situations. And I've reached my fill. I'm tired of it. So yeah, when you start talking that wade in the water Negro spiritual shit, I'm gonna make fun of you. I'm gonna make fun of you. I am sick and tired of this Mahalia Jackson, Negro spiritual, ladies of Brewster Place, color purple, waiting to exhale, for colored girls, bullshit. I'm sick of it. Every time we have a discussion about what black people need to do, we always gotta hear an all my life I had to fight speech. I'm sick of that shit, bruh. I'm sick of it. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. Don't nobody want to hear no I have a dream speeches. Don't nobody want to hear no ain't I a woman speeches. Don't nobody want to hear no still I rise. Don't nobody want to hear that bullshit no more. Because guess what, niggas? It ain't got you nowhere. You own less than you did before the 60s. You're not as educated. Yeah, you think you're educated. Half of you can't even write a sentence with proper punctuation. Half of you can't even write in cursive. You're less skilled. You can't farm. You can't grow shit. You don't have any trades. You're just a group of people that's living off of the tit of society with no marketable skills. No marketable skills. Meanwhile, you go back in time before the 60s, and most black people had skills, they had trades, they owned businesses, they owned land, they owned homes, and they had a work ethic that would make you look like a damn toddler. But every time an intelligent black person amongst us brings this up, we got to get beat down by you ignorant ass niggas that want to live off the glory of what your forebears did. She's sitting up there living off the glory of what her mama did. They want to live off the glory of what Big Mama did. They want to live off the glory of what Papa did. What have you done? What have you done? Other than get on a YouTube panel of somebody else's channel so you can run your mouth about some asinine opinion that don't go nowhere, don't do nothing for nobody, that ain't about shit. Angry man, what have you done? I tell you what I've done. I have helped countless people through this platform be able to navigate today's world. I speak to people about what they can do today, how they can fix their life today. I'm even a published author for the purpose of helping. Instead of that bullshit that y'all on. Actionable intel. You know how many people have hit me up and said, hey, Angry Man, you changed my life. Hey, Angry Man, I was homeless. Now I'm not homeless. Hey, Angry Man, I'm a 6-figure earner now because of you. Hey, Angry Man, you gave me the courage to go and get a trade. Hey, Angry Man, you gave me the courage to go back to school and to go get a skill and to go do this and to go do that. I've actually helped people, just me. Instead of sitting up on a damn panel, running your damn mouth. Go clean your damn kitchen. And for those of you that didn't see the rest of it, she was talking about something and she alluded to the fact that when her husband come home, if he tried to put her on blast about the kitchen because she didn't clean it, and she tried to breeze past that, and I said, well, why haven't you cleaned your damn kitchen? Instead of sitting up here running your damn mouth. Nobody want to hear that we was kings bullshit. I'm talking about some, well, if they, yo Mike and yo, every time I have a discussion with these niggas, they always want to try to come at me with some, well, if it wasn't for YouTube, you wouldn't be here. Nigga, YouTube is where it's at. That's why I'm here. Is that much obvious? That's like during the manufacturing age, somebody saying to a dude, if this GM factory wasn't here, you wouldn't be shit. Nigga. We're in the middle of the Industrial Revolution. That's why my ass is in this damn GM factory. What did Lil Wayne say? Go after what pays. There's a reason I'm on YouTube. And got here before you niggas did, I might add. So not only am I where it's at, but I knew this is where it was gonna be at before it was where it's at. Do I need to say that again? Let me say it again. Was here before you niggas. Which meant I came here before we knew here was gonna be where it's at. That mean I got foresight. And I've only been on YouTube for 10 years. And she bringing up, well, before YouTube, before YouTube, what do you mean before YouTube? Let me ask y'all a question. Every last one of y'all that's watching me right now. Let me ask y'all a question. There's another guy here on YouTube that goes by the name of Izzy Bands. Friend of mine, I've been friends with for 30 years. Do you notice something in common with me and Izzy Bands? There's one thing that me and him have in common if you really paid attention to it. That's all right, you ain't got to guess it. I'm going to tell you what it is. Do me or Izzy Bands seem like we're not about our money? Do me and Izzy Bands seem like we're not educated? Do me and Izzy Bands seem like we're not intelligent? So guess what? You can understand what type of dude I am simply by looking at who my friend is of 30 years. If he's any indication of who I am, there's a couple of things you know. You know I don't hang around no bum ass niggas. You know I don't hang around no broke ass niggas. You know I don't hang around no dumb ass niggas. Just me. You just another faceless voice in a long line of faceless voices that will come and go. You in my house. That's the shit you don't get. And that's why you got to say stuff like, if they took your microphone and they took YouTube, I can't say that about you. Because you ain't shit on YouTube. I can't say that about you. I can't try to weaponize that against you and say, if they take your mic, because guess what? Your mic don't matter. Your presence here don't matter. You just another individual that had a back and forth with the Angryman. And in a few years, I'll forget. I'll forget that conversation. I'll forget who you are. But guess what will remain? The Angryman. The Angryman ideology. That shit ain't going nowhere. That shit ain't going nowhere. Because it's a new day. It's a new day. And there are more black men that think the way I do now than have that victimhood mentality that you niggas got. Talking that stupid ass shit. I cannot stand that damn victimhood mentality. Because guess what? You know what that victimhood mentality goes right in line with? The poverty mentality. The poverty mentality. It walks right in line. You know one thing that I noticed throughout my life? Every black man that I've ever met that was successful, every single one of them, they have one thing in common. They don't have the victimhood mentality. But every person, every black person that I've ever met that's struggling, that just can't seem to get right, that can't get their shit together, they always got a list of people that they blame for their plight. They always got a bunch of excuses as to why they're in the situation they're in. And guess who's at the top of that list? White men and the government. White men and the government. Is that a coincidence? Is that a coincidence? And before you try to say, well, what about the celebrities? Let me tell you something. There are celebrities that are rich and famous that scream victimhood. But guess what? They didn't get rich and famous because they truly believe in victimhood. They got rich and famous because they know you believe in victimhood and they figured out how to monetize your victimhood. But they themselves don't think that way. They themselves don't believe that. Because if they did, you wouldn't see D.L. Hughley, Ricky Smiley, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, or any of them individuals. You wouldn't see them doing business with white people. They just know victimhood is a commodity that you niggas will buy faster than you'll buy drugs or ass. That's right. You can go without drugs. You can go without alcohol. Hell, you can even go without box, but you ain't never gonna go without victimhood. You ain't never gonna go without that. And that's why you don't have anything else, because you trade everything for victimhood. And that's why your celebrities have everything and you have nothing. Because they sell you victimhood and you give them everything else. They sell you victimhood and you give them everything else in return for it. That's why the Democrats don't never give you nothing for your vote. Nothing of any substance. Why should they have to? They've already compensated you for your vote. They have given you plenty of victimhood. Because that's all you want. That's all you want. That's all you want. All you want is for white people to feel sorry for your raggedy ass. And you think the ones that don't feel sorry for you are racist. This is how backwards you are. The ones that don't feel sorry for you, that expect you to actually be worth your salt, you think they're the racist ones. And you think the ones that feel sorry for you are the ones that love you. You're idiots. You're idiots. One thing in this world I can't stand is for somebody to feel sorry for me. Don't feel sorry for me. Don't feel sorry for me. Keep your pity. Keep your pity. I'd rather be great and get your praise. That's what separates us. That's what's different about us. And by the way, just me, ain't nobody taking this mic from me. You know why ain't nobody taking this mic from me? Because I forged it out of nothing. I reached into the ether and pulled it out and shaped it the way God shaped the universe. This mic is here because I put it here, you goofy broad. You ain't shaped nothing. Everything you are was given to you. Everything. Your ideology, your victimhood, your religion, your language, your God, your education, every damn thing that you are was given to you. You don't have a damn original thought in your head. And that's why you niggas get so mad when I come around. Because I confuse you. You trying to figure out why. You trying to figure out why does a nigga like me think the way I do? That's part of the reason why the people in your chat rooms don't even believe I'm black. Bet you didn't think about that. That's the reason why most of the niggas in your chat rooms don't even believe I'm black. It ain't got shit to do with my skin tone. It has to do with my mentality. It has to do with the way I think. It has to do with the way I speak. Because I don't speak like the typical nigga. Be in your feelings about that. I really don't give a shit. Shout out to Stan. He said, stopping through to show some support. I'll catch the replay. Salute to you and the BINO Nation. Shout out to Cutie Exec. He said, DEI is anti-black man. It only benefits women, other races, and ABCs. DEI creates DEI jobs. No advancement for black men, just women who run DEI programs. Facts. Shout out to Akil Bay. He said, that's an interesting name. There's another brother who calls himself Akil. He actually wrote the book From Niggas to Gods. I don't know if you ever read that book before. Shout out to Akil. He said every group of people have been slaves and or had slaves at one point or another in history. Still today, employee, the word root meaning is slave. Fact. Shout out to Akil. He said, if you don't qualify, you don't get promoted. United States Marine Corps. Yep. Shout out to Freezy. He said, AM blessings, bro. Great convo last night. Tag me in if that's okay. I got you, bro. I'll tag you in the joint. I'll tag you in it. Let's see. Let's tag Freezy in this joint. There we go. Shout out to Freezy. I appreciate you having me, even though them niggas was getting on my damn nerves. Shout out to the lowly one. He said that's why they made Sam Wilson Captain America instead of Bucky Barnes, which would have made more sense. Yeah. And he messed that all the way up because he went overseas somewhere and said Captain America doesn't really stand for America. Like, bro, why would you do that? Why would you do that? You already got people giving you pushback about having the shield. And I'm going to tell y'all something right now. And y'all can call me a coon. Y'all can call me a sellout, whatever you want to call me. The only Captain America I know is Steve Rogers. That's my Captain America. Y'all can get mad at me if you want. It is what it is. You feel what I'm saying? It is what it is. It is what it is. Shout out to Akil. Shout out to Angel. Shout out to I'm in Up. Said you have too much polish to talk to these clowns. Damn. Shout out to Yoshi K. Said taking pride of struggle and poor decisions are more elevated than ones that pride themselves on good decisions and accomplishments. That's facts. Shout out to Rob. Shout out to Akil. Shout out to Button Mash Gaming. Let's see. Shout out to Mogul Maze. Shout out to Diamond. He said, I'll just support from here, my guy. Keep going, bro. Appreciate you. Shout out to Miles. He said, black people forget we only 15% of the population. Yeah. Shout out to Jim Rat. He said, you for sure encourage me to keep elevating. Shout out to Javier. Appreciate you. Shout out to Travion. Appreciate you. So now we got to get to this other topic. If y'all want to keep rocking out with me, I want to talk about the DNC forum and, you know, briefly touch on that and the trade war that's going on with America and Canada. If y'all want to keep rocking out, let me know if y'all want to keep rocking out. If not, we'll wrap it up. What y'all want? What y'all want to do? Y'all want to keep rocking out? Shout out to Amani. He said, did y'all hear that they're recasting Black Panther? Yeah, because they probably finally waking up. Disney better get their shit together. Disney, but did not say that. Did not say the best thing they could have did is recast Black Panther. By the way, we only got 35 contributors. Usually we have way more than that at this juncture. So make sure you guys are hitting the Cash App, supporting the show, hit the like button, all of that good stuff. You feel me? Let me pull this video up. You gotta see this. This is incredible. This is incredible to say the very least. Let's pull this up. So it appears. Let's see.
Presidency.
So, and by the way, yeah, I'm not joking. Support the show. If y'all want me to keep it going, support the show, hit the Cash App, all of that good stuff, right? So, MSNBC does a live moderation of the DNC forum, and they had it at Georgetown University, and it's obvious that they have not learned their lesson. Democrats have not learned their lesson. In fact, let me show you some little snippets.
I mean, who started?
Let me show you some little snippets of, let's see. Here's one of the snippets that I showed at the beginning. Check this out.
Rules specify that when we have a gender non-binary candidate or officer, the non-binary individual is counted as neither male nor female, and the remaining 6 offices must be gender balanced. With the results of the previous 4 elections, our elected officers are currently 2 male and 2 female.
They really don't want to win.
In order to be gender balanced, we must elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender.
Wow.
So again, this is what we have to do for this vice chair race. We have to elect 1 male, 1 female.
And by the way, just so you know, black people, this is your fault. Yeah, that's right. That's right. This is your fault. If you hadn't been so adamant about preferential treatment, these other groups wouldn't have been able to piggyback on that bullshit.
Female and 1 person of any gender. To ensure our process accounts for male, female, and non-binary candidates, we conferred with our RBC co-chair, our LGBT caucus co-chair, and others to ensure that the process is inclusive and meets the gender balance requirements in our rules.
So it looks like the Democrats still don't want to win. The voters overwhelmingly rejected this DEI CRT gender insanity, and they only are going deeper into it instead of becoming more central and balanced.
They even had chaos erupt. At the DNC forum. Let me see if I can find one of the videos. Let's see, DNC forum 2025. Let's see. There was one video where they were literally yelling. Let's see. Let's pull this video. You know what? I'm gonna try to go to the let's see. Just to give you an idea, I can't play the whole thing because the whole thing is like 7 hours, but I just want to play some of it so you guys can get an idea of what's going on. But check this out.
How important the job of treasurer is to an organization. What specific qualifications do you possess that make you the best candidate to be DNC treasurer?
Thank you so much. I mentioned also that I'm a lawmaker. I serve on a budget committee. I've been serving for 20 plus years. I deal in billion-dollar budgets and have to adjust where we need to adjust. In addition to that, as the treasurer, we need to make sure that our values are reflected in our budgets. I'm a lawyer. So when we talk about compliance, I am able to look at the complex issues when it comes to FEC reporting. And finally, I actually did the training. The FEC actually has some training that you can get on parties, political parties, for the reporting and the filing. I went through that. I have the paperwork if you all want to see it, the certification and the CLE credits also. But also I have the passion. We have to have passion right now. We need to be all hands on deck when it comes to not only executive officers, but all of you. Again, we have got to excite people in this country about this party, not just for us, but for democracy of this country. I want to make sure that my daughter who's here with me today, your daughters, your sons, your grandchildren actually have an America that they can be proud of. So I have those specific qualifications when it comes to the treasurer itself and the financial piece, but you got to have somebody with some passion also at the executive committee.
Thank you.
You shouldn't have said your qualifications, ma'am. What you should have said is I'm a black woman, and you should have led with identity. But God bless her heart. She's probably one of the few that's trying to take it to a different direction. You feel me? But I don't think that's gonna work out with that party. I think they're looking for identity politics.
In the DNC, and I think that's going to be important not only to our grassroots supporters and donors, but to the greater community of Democrats as well. So,
and I am asking for your vote on Saturday.
As we hurdle to the vote on Saturday, I want to bring my professional experience, my elected official, and party experience to bear on this role. I think there's a lot more that the treasurer can do to inspire confidence in the DNC. And I think that's going to be important, not only to our grassroots supporters and donors, but to the greater community of Democrats as well. So please vote for me, Matt Hughes.
I'm Marika.
I'm Marika like paprika, and I am asking for your vote on Saturday.
Did she say I'm Marika like paprika? Is that what you said? You said super freaka? Marika, my little super freaka. Oh my God. Hold on, let's fast forward. Let's fast forward a little bit. Let's see. Hold on. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, who is this? Who is this?
So from 2015 to 2016, I worked for the DNC as a director of community engagement. So engagement is like second nature to me. It is important for us to, again, engage with our members to understand what they need. It is also important for us to understand, to communicate with our members, to share with them what is happening at the DNC. I've heard from DNC members that they've had difficulty getting information out of the Secretary's office. And so I think it's really important for us to keep the member first and foremost at what we do at the DNC. And I will say this, maybe because I'm a Southerner and I'm nosy, but I really want to know what members are thinking. I want to know. I want to know where we're doing well, where we're not doing well. What can we do better? What can we stop doing? But I think it's really important for us to put DNC members first and not treat them like they're the staff because they're elected members of the body, and treat them as a colleague, as a key.
Every state.
They are in trouble. Sweet Jesus, they are in trouble.
Since I was a new media guy for Students for Barack Obama. I'm running for vice chair because this is a crucial moment to modernize, where we need doers at the DNC who actually know how to enact the change we're seeking. I offer specific solutions to address voter engagement, which I look forward to addressing with you today. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. Congressman Beatty.
Joyce Beatty, electing me, you'll have a chair that will make sure that every vote, every voice, every state, blue, battleground, and red, will be heard. 50 state, 7 territory plan, putting young Dems at the table, standing with labor. My skills and leadership is unmatched. I've fought, I've won, and I've been successful. I delivered the John R. Lewis voting rights in the House. I flipped the state of Ohio as the minority leader. My numbers will speak for themselves in my closing, but my heart goes out to those killed in the crash.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman.
Oh. Hey, look, I don't know her politics, but hey, she was on it. She was on it. Can't say she wasn't prepared. She was on it. Hold on, let's see. They got a brother up here. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see who next.
The 2 prior vice chairs were also licensed attorneys, and there's a reason for that. We need to make sure that our voter protection strategy includes a legal aspect. I am Raina Walters Morgan, and I am excited to be here today.
Thank you so much. Let's give them a round of Mitt Romney campaign in 2012. What are you going to do to fight?
We have to knuck when you buck right now. We got to be real clear that too often we have
Brother. Shout out to Mr. Fantastic. Did he just say knuck when you buck? Did he just say you got to knuck when you buck?
let the other side dictate the terms to us. We have a racist, homophobic, misogynist president and party on the other side, and too often we're unwilling just to call it what it is. There's anti-blackness that is happening. There is racism that is happening. There is sexism that's happening. And if
they just don't learn. They just don't learn. Here we go again. Here we go again with this great value Freeway Ricky. They just don't learn, bruh. Sweet Jesus. Let's go ahead and skip past you, because you ain't learned nothing from the election. Hold on. Let's see. Let's move forward a little bit. Let's move forward a little bit. Let's go right here.
Democrats had policies that cared for people and working families like my own. I went on to be the first in my family to graduate from college. I served on at least 3 national campaigns and the last 2 Democratic administrations, most recently Commerce, and I'm running because I give a damn about this party and this country.
Thank you very much. Our next candidate, Malcolm Kenyatta.
So for all the DNC members, you only have one more weekend of hearing from all of us. What are you going to do with all that free time now? But I'm here on the stage because I believe in each and every one of us. My name is Representative Malcolm Kenyatta, and I've been lucky that my neighbors 4 times in a row have given me the opportunity to go to Harrisburg and fight for them, to talk about working families like mine who just want to be treated with basic dignity and respect. Those families need a strong Democratic Party. Together, we're going to make sure they have it. Thanks for letting me be here today.
Thank you very much. Artie Blanco.
Yes.
Short and to the point. I like it. Short and to the point. Hold on, you guys. We're going to fast forward a little bit. I'm trying to find where they, unless they cut it out, I'm trying to find where the people came in. People came in there protesting.
I want to go back to that other question just about fundraising. I am a donor monthly to the DNC and to my state party and to my county party and my congressional district. I just wanted to lay that out when we talk about donors and donations. But second, my money is where my mouth is. But to the issue of organizing and how do we reach people because we're not reaching them, the problem is what we're talking about is bringing organizers into places. Let me be very clear. People are already in those spaces. There are Democrats, there are unaffiliated and moderate Republicans who are in those spaces. And what we do is we wait till a cycle and then we dive a whole bunch of people into a very specific place to do a very specific thing. And what we're missing is that there are people doing it every day. Those are the people we have to talk to. You know why we're losing ground? We stopped talking to each other. We started farming out our language and our relationship and our wins to other people. The reason we're being defined by Republicans is because Democrats aren't talking to each other. We're underfunded in the places we need to go. If you're somewhere that doesn't have an organized county party, there's a church or a community center somewhere where people are sharing your values. And we've got to get out of the model that we're going to come in somewhere and then make a difference. The people who are on the ground, who are sharing with their neighbors, who are talking to each other, that's how we get those people back. That's how we change.
Labor. They still ain't learned their lesson, man. If you go and you watch this whole thing and you listen to everything they're saying, there isn't a single star in that group. There isn't a single person in that group that stands out. Like, they're all saying the same thing. They still have not understood what they did wrong. They still haven't understood it. They're making every excuse in the book for their loss instead of acknowledging why they really lost. You lost because of the identity politics. You lost because you went too far to the left. You lost because you're out of touch with the average American people. You're trying to force your beliefs and your ideologies on the American people, and they don't agree with it. They don't agree with it.
Why we lost the hairdresser? Why did we lose the truck driver? Why did we lose them? We need to research, do some focus groups and some polling to try to understand why they went the other way. That's number one. Number two, back in the 1980s.
See what I mean? He should know. At this point, he should know. But they exist in an echo chamber. So, you know.
I'm aging myself, but when Mondale and Dukakis got beat pretty bad, the Democratic Leadership Council was created. People like Bill Clinton and Al Gore and others put together an organization.
Let's see. The Daily Discourse said it's at 5 hours and 9 minutes. Let's go to 5 hours and 9 minutes. No, that's the singing part. I'm not getting to the singing part yet. I'm not getting to that part yet.
Organization to work along with the Democratic National Party to come up with some moderate positions that all segments of our party could try to surround themselves and support. Third thing, you got to go on Fox. Stop talking to ourselves on MSNBC or CNN or the favorable stations.
Uh-oh. We got one. We got to rewind it. He actually said something that made sense. We got to rewind it.
Labor, why we lost the hairdresser, why did we lose the truck driver, Why did we lose them? We need to research, do some focus groups and some polling to try to understand why they went the other way. That's number one. Number two, back in the 1980s, I'm aging myself, but when Mondale and Dukakis got beat pretty bad, the Democratic Leadership Council was created. People like Bill Clinton and Al Gore and others put together an organization to work along with the Democratic National Party to come up with some moderate positions that all segments of
moderate positions. He's right. He's 100% right about that. Moderate positions.
Our party could try to surround themselves and support. Third thing, you got to go on Fox.
Facts.
Stop talking to ourselves on MSNBC or CNN or the favorable stations that we listen to every day. We got to talk to the other side, and we're not doing it. So shame on us. The other day I saw Lindsey Graham. He was on CNN. He was on MSNBC.
They're not going to vote for him. The Democrats, they're not going to rock with him. That's probably look, candidate for DNC vice chair. He's probably one of the good candidates. They're not going to rock with him, though, because he's talking too much common sense.
See, they're saying how great they are. There was nobody on Fox. So if we're not communicating, we're going to lose. And my ideology is very simple. I want to be very pragmatic. I'm probably maybe more moderate than maybe some others. Maybe that's why I'm in the middle over here. But I want to win, and if we work together, we can win.
Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you for the question. So the program that I've really been thinking a lot about is how do you actually win elections? And you win those elections by investing every day, everywhere, early, often, and all the time. You don't get any days off when it comes to electoral politics. We're in a state of crises, and in a state of crises, you've got to show up. You've got to do the hard work of training, leading, and developing the bench for our party. No one likes a loser. Voters are sitting at home on the couch because we've not been delivering for them, and that's been the problem. We've got to get back out. And
she thinks the voters didn't show up. She thinks the voters didn't show up. That's not what happened, ma'am. That's not what happened. The voters showed up. The voters turned out. The problem is you lost too many voters. That's the problem. The Republicans flipped a lot of Democrat voters. And until y'all acknowledge that happened, you're not going to be able to fix it. The Republicans flipped a lot of Democrat voters. You got to stop believing that 20 million people decided not to vote. That's not what happened.
Into the field, connect with people, connect their issues from the kitchen table up to every table that we sit at, because it's just that important that people know that we're not only fighting for them, but we're the right leaders for the job right now. That's super important as a party. We also got to get back to really doing the hard work of creating more space to make sure that we're not only just talking about inclusion, but we actually do the work of making people feel included. It's too many silos within our party to consider ourselves to be the big tent party. We've got to do more to create more space for people who have different ideas, different experiences, and different levels of expertise to help us get the job done.
Thank you very much.
Chair, I am really excited to work with you so that we can win and win at every level. We've got to win back the White House, as you know. We've got to win in Congress. We've got to win in the county commissions, and we've got to win over 50 mayoral races this year alone. And I'm proposing to you that I would love to support your work in the following.
Carried us, you all have carried us time and time again.
The candidate. So I frankly would start with a couple of small states. You want to pick a different couple small states? Do. But don't start with big states. Don't start with battleground states, because then it all becomes television. It all becomes big rallies. And voters don't get the chance to interact with the candidates the way we did in the old days, where we actually made smart decisions. I think the reason we got rid of Iowa and New Hampshire was insurgents had a chance to win.
Hey. That's an amazing question.
Cut him off. Damn.
I agree with Jim that process matters, but I disagree vehemently When we think about who the backbone of this party is, it's black women. We're gonna call a spade a spade. They've carried us, you all have carried us.
Now I gotta rewind and see what the white guy said right before him that he disagreed with. I gotta rewind now and see what he said. Ah! What did I do?
Years ago, I was elected as district attorney in southeastern Oklahoma, the first native.
Up to the 2020
day where you talked a little bit about this, your proposal that you've been pushing for a while, and
try to build upon 2 years from now.
Caucuses. And I believe because the Constitution
in the appointments.
Next question will go to Robert Stevens and Kaylin Free, and this comes from Georgetown student Nicholas Hasman, class of 2028.
Hi. One of the unfortunate developments leading up to the 2024 election was the large shift rightward of many Gen Z men. This political shift was achieved mainly through an effective network of online right-wing content creators and personalities who effectively used religious and cultural messaging to sway this group rightward. Should you be elected DNC vice chair, how would you utilize DNC resources to better counter this network of online right-wing ideologues? And would you help coordinate and elevate certain existing online left-wing personalities to help counter this? Thank you.
All right. You want to go first?
I had an opportunity to walk up with you, and it was an amazing conversation.
In the early window, in order to get the Democratic message out in front of those voters earlier in the process. The RBC will go through that process again this next cycle, once a new RBC is seated, and opening the process up again for all states to apply. Do you think that framework is the right one? If not, how would you advise they think about it? And should states that jump the line face penalties? Start with Jim, and then go to Robert.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Look, this is going to be unpopular with some people. I liked the old way. I think Iowa should have gone first. I think New Hampshire, Nevada, and then South Carolina was great. Michigan would be great. But the fact is that we had that big process in the Rules and Bylaws Committee, and after you all, before you even made a decision, the White House sends a letter saying, I want South Carolina first, and all the rest of the work went out the window. That can't be the way we operate. There is diversity in the process. And I've been to Iowa since the 1980s. Frankly, it's an amazing process to watch those caucuses work, to watch people engage with their neighbors in these kinds of discussions. When they sit in back rooms, when they sit rather not in back rooms, when they sit in backyards, when they're at county fairs, when they're at restaurants, when they're talking to people face to face, you get a chance to get the measure of the candidate. It doesn't pick the winner, but it winnows the candidates so that you know who can participate and who can't. If everything is on television, is everything before big rallies, there is no way that you get that feel for the candidate in real life, how they operate. People know about the candidate, they don't know the candidate. So I frankly would start with a couple of small states. You want to pick a different couple small states? Do. But don't start with big states, don't start with battleground states, because then it all becomes television. It all becomes big rallies. And voters don't get the chance to interact with the candidates the way we did in the old days, where we actually made smart decisions. I think the reason we got rid of Iowa and New Hampshire was insurgents had a chance to win.
That's an amazing question. I agree with Jim that process matters, but I disagree vehemently. When we think about who the backbone of this party is, it's black women. We're gonna call a spade a spade.
Okay, that didn't even make sense. Now that I rewinded it back to listen to what the white guy said before, him saying this doesn't even make sense. Which means he's just pandering. Am I wrong? Listening to what the question was and what the white guy just said, what he's saying right now doesn't really make sense unless he's just pandering.
They've carried us. You all have carried us time and time again. You've shown up. You've marched. You've organized. You've got people out. You've led souls to the polls rallies. When we have these caucuses and these elections in early states, and the states are not as diverse as they could be, you're putting candidates of color at a disadvantage. And we deserve the opportunity to get out there as well. And so
he's a moron. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. He is an idiot. Now, I'm going to tell you why he's an idiot. Why are you going to go after black female voters? You had 92% of the black female vote last time, and you still lost. You don't have to win over black female voters. You got to win over. That's what the other guy was saying. He was like, yo, we don't need to go to the bigger states, because he's probably talking about, without him saying it, he probably was, I think the underlying message he was saying was, if you go to the bigger states, you're going to the bigger cities. And we know in the bigger cities, you're going to have more diversity. You're going to have more black people in those urban centers, right? He was talking about going to the smaller states. So basically what he was saying was, we need to talk to some of these white folk in these smaller states, in these rural areas, because we need to win some of them over. So I think that was the context of what he was saying before, and this guy caught on to it, and that's why he said, nah, I disagree. We need the black women are the backbone, so we need to go after the black women. Bruh, you had 92% of the black female vote, and you still lost. They're cooked. They are cooked.
Well, I think that process matters. So, Jim, I agree. Process matters. But I also agree the full diversity of our country, of our party, needs to be on display. And if we can do both, I'm all for it. But let's make sure we're putting out the people who are really doing the work. Everyone is doing the work, but let's make sure we're putting out the people who are doing the work and giving them a voice, because if we don't, then are we really holding true to our democratic values? Thank you.
Right. I got one more parent.
These folks is lost. These folks is lost. Like, you don't have to go after the black female vote. Y'all got that. Y'all got the Democrats have the black female vote on lock. So it makes absolutely no sense. Oh my God, is this Jen Psaki?
Go through the rules of this evening. Bear with me. It's important for everybody to know. Okay, first of all, in order to participate today and to qualify for the February 1st ballot, candidates must have submitted 40 verified DNC member signatures by Saturday, January 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Obviously, they have all done that. Officers for the DNC will be elected by a majority vote of DNC members during the DNC winter meeting, which takes place from January 30th today through February 1st. The chair's race is on Saturday, as everybody here is probably already knows. This forum is going to take place over the course of 90 minutes, beginning with 30-second opening statements from each candidate and concluding with 30-second closing remarks. The order of the opening statements was done by random drawing preceding the forum, and closing statements will occur in reverse order. The three of us moderators have been given exclusive control of the questions and the flow of discussion. Neither the DNC nor any of the candidates have previewed these questions. During the audience portion of the questioning, the DNC members from the Eastern region will be the priorities, but there will also be could be questions from other DNC members from other regions, and we may be asking some of the questions as well from people who are not in attendance today. Candidates may not receive the same questions throughout the forum, but they will be afforded roughly the same amount of speaking time. That is our shared objective up here. Candidates will not be afforded time to respond to other candidates unless so directed. We may ask follow-up.
And we'll start with Dr. Quintessa Hathaway.
Good evening.
Dr. Quintessa? Quintessa?
Everyone, it is my desire to be the next DNC chair, and I just want to give you all a little bit of something that's been on my heart here over the last couple of days. You fight on, you fight on, you fight on, you fight on. When your government is doing you wrong, you fight on, oh, you fight on.
Thank you, thank you, Dr. Hathaway. Next up, Faz Shakir.
I'm not going to follow that, but I jumped into this race late because felt like the ideas were not meeting the moment. And at this moment, the DNC needs to be on a war footing. Donald Trump campaigned as a populist. He's governing like an oligarch, doling out special favors to billionaires who want to kiss his ring. The work.
Oh my God, they are still like, bruh, give it a rest. Let's go to the next guy.
With shock at the horrors that Trump is visiting on communities across this country.
Sweet Jesus.
We need a DNC and a DNC chair who's ready.
Our DNC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shakir. Ben Wickler.
As we grieve the horrible crash yesterday, as we reel with shock at the horrors that Trump is visiting on communities across this country.
The horrors? What the hell are you talking about?
We need a DNC and a DNC chair who's ready to bring the intensity, the focus, and the fury to fight back in this moment when our country is reeling and waiting for leadership. I've done this in Wisconsin, a state rigged to be red. I've done this in the fight against the repeal of the Affordable Care Act. If I'm the DNC chair, we will meet this moment now with the fight it requires.
Thank you, Mr. Wickler. Okay.
But you know what? I ain't tripping about it. They always say, like, yo, when your enemy is destroying themselves, like, just get out of the way. Just get out of the way and let them do it.
Thank you. Ken Martin.
Thank you so much. First, let me just say to Gina Repass and, of course, all of the folks in Kansas, look, this was really tragic yesterday, what we saw happen, right? But it shouldn't surprise any of us, of course, that the president today decided to inject politics into that, saying, of course, this was the fault of President Biden, President Obama, the air traffic controllers, and DEI of all things. If we don't understand right now what this fight is about, we have to bring this fight to the American people and stand up and call this for what it is. It's chaos, and it deserves a party that's going to fight.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Okay.
How do you think you're going to win any elections being anti-Trump when 77 million of the American citizens voted for him? When he has a super high approval rating?
Jason Paul.
My name is Jason Paul. Why am I here? Because
why are you here?
20 years, I've dedicated my life to working in Democratic politics. And my main takeaway over that time is that how we do things just isn't working. I feel like those of us in the audience and in the watching know that it isn't working. Well,
he looks like he's about to have an anxiety attack.
We need is to fix it. It's going to require that we reach for the moon. I've had plans to do that. But what we all do together is how we get to the moon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul.
He's having an anxiety attack. He's nervous as shit.
Marianne Williamson.
Thank you.
Damn, I feel bad for him. I genuinely feel bad for him. Shit. He was scared as hell.
It is difficult for the mind to absorb the enormity of this moment. Fascism is literally in the house. We have a very sobering mission, and it is one that tens of millions of Americans are hoping that we get right. And we will get it right by transforming the Democratic Party. We will become as audacious with our vision for this country as the Republicans are audacious with theirs. And we will do it by being exciting, by being motivating and inspiring and amazing. And if I'm chair, I promise you, we will.
Thank you, Ms. Williamson. Martin O'Malley.
This is a moment of profound crisis in our country. The sort of crisis we have never seen before. This is therefore not a normal DNC election. This election calls out for change, cries out for new leadership to meet this moment. The choice for all of us as Democrats is, do we have the courage to embrace change and rise to this moment? I believe we do, and that is why I'm running for chair of the DNC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. O'Malley. And Nate Snyder.
I believe we need leadership that's ready for a crisis, and I believe I'm that leader. As we mourn this tremendous loss of life, we have a president who is spewing fear, who is spewing lies into an extremist narrative of hate. And I think the largest and biggest threat that we have to national security is the Republican Party. We need to push back with everything we got, and my intention is to dismantle this propaganda lie machine. I hope I can get your vote.
Thank you very much, Mr. Snyder.
Sweet Jesus. Sweet Jesus.
Right now. I want to give you your opportunity. I want to give you your opportunity. Everyone, please.
For the delegates to the Democratic National Convention, chosen through elections in all of our states to be able to vote. And I remember that moment when the call came through. I was sitting on my back porch, I was on a phone call, and then I got the alert that President Biden had decided to end his campaign and then to pass the torch. I put my phone down, I took a deep breath, and then we called a Zoom call of our delegates to the DNC. What I found in that moment was what I think state chairs across the country found, which is that the people chosen to choose the nominee through a process that we built moved with lightning speed. There was a vote. We voted for Kamala Harris to be our nominee, and we're proud of that vote.
You lying ass.
Thank you, Mr. Wickler. Dr. Hathaway, I would ask the same question to you. Would you have done anything differently? I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. Everyone, please. We cannot. I am going to ask if the audience would please give us an opportunity to ask the questions. And if you are not going to give us an opportunity to ask the questions, we are going to simply ask you to leave. We will not be able to get through this evening.
You see security?
Tell him about the gun line, boss.
Oh, you see how quick she jumped up? Ooh, she jumped up quick.
Ignore the Ohio deadline and take a contest to the convention floor. There were, as everyone knows here, other ideas. My question to you is, what would you have done if you were the chair?
We had a process to choose our nominee, and that is for the delegates to the Democratic National Convention.
More disruptions. I'm so sorry, Dr. Hathaway. Everyone, please.
Biden had decided to end the country found, which is that the people chosen to choose the nominee through a process that we built moved with lightning speed. There was a vote. We voted for Kamala Harris to be our nominee, and we're proud of that vote.
Thank you, Mr. Wickler. Dr. Hathaway, I would ask the same question to you. Would you have done anything differently? I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. Everyone, please. We cannot. I am going to ask if the audience would please give us an opportunity to ask the questions. And if you are not going to give us an opportunity to ask the questions, we are going to simply ask you to leave. We will not be able to get through this evening. We will not be able to get through this evening if you all continue to interrupt.
Our planet is running out of time. Our planet is running out of time to count.
And we are running out of time in this forum. Again, I would ask if anyone else feels the need to disrupt, please stand up and do it right now. I want to give you your opportunity. I want to give you your opportunity. Do it right now. Do it right. That being said, I hope we don't see any more disruptions. I'm so sorry, Dr. Hathaway. Please answer the question.
Can everyone hear me? Thank you, Mr. Fayez. The youth of this nation are crying for their voices to be heard. I'm sorry for the disruption. I'm going to apologize on their behalf. But when I tell you a youth movement must rise up here in the United States of America that's equivalent in voting power, we're going to have to get this country registered to vote. 10 million new voter registrants, youth mobilization, social activation, mass voter turnout, citizenship, education.
Citizenship. Did you hear her? Did you hear what she said? At the beginning, she said 10 million new voters. Now, she could be talking about people turning 18, but then she says citizenship.
That is what it's going to take in order for a serious, intentional, methodical, strategic revolution to happen in this country, for us to, as Democrats, to win races up and down and all around the ballot in this country. No longer can any voice be silent when it comes to issues and matters of the heart, our humanity, the vibrancy and lifelong longevity of our party. We've got to make some serious intentional changes, people. So when I hear the children, I'm telling you all, I'm going to be responsive to their needs, as well as everyone across every economic spectrum, everyone against every type of background. That is the leader I seek to be for the DNC.
And I hope they pick you. I hope they pick you. Oh my Lord, I hope they pick you. I pray to God they pick you. Please. Please, DNC. Please pick Dr. What is it? Quintella? Dr. Quintella Hathaway? Yeah, Dr. Quintessa. Dr. Quintessa Hathaway. I pray to God they pick you. Please do it. Please, I want you to. I want you to so badly. I want you to so badly. This DNC, it's over for the Democrats. They got a lot of work to do, and they got a little bit of time to do it. They got a whole lot of work to do, and they got a little bit of time to do it. And I don't think they're going to be able to turn it around because they haven't learned anything. They haven't learned shit. They haven't learned shit. Now, let me pull up this video. So, y'all know about the tariffs, right? Y'all know about the tariffs. Y'all know that Trudeau made an announcement. And this is what I'm trying to figure out. So, I'm looking here on ABC News, and it says Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau. I thought he resigned. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Trudeau resign? So why the hell is he up there talking? Why is he up there talking? It makes no sense. Now, here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. While he's talking, I don't want you to pay attention to Trudeau or the lady next to him. Look at his face. I need you to just pay attention to the guy to Trudeau's left. Just watch his face while Trudeau is talking.
Announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods. This will include immediate...
He's looking at him, bruh. Hold on, you said the shirt advertisement is blocking his face? Hold on one second. You can take it off the screen. Matter of fact, hold on. I got you, bro. Hold on. Is it gone now? You guys let me know if it's gone now. Okay. Look at his face, bruh.
Tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives. Our response will also be far-reaching and include everyday items such as American beer, wine, and bourbon.
Look how he's looking at him. He know Trudeau is screwing up right now. He know he's messing up right now, bruh. He looking at him like, bruh, you bugging. And look, let's be real about it. The only reason Trudeau is responding this way is because Trump called him a governor. He said, yo, if you want, we can make Canada the 51st state, and you can be the governor of it. Like, bruh, you know good and well he's still hot about that shit.
Fruits and fruit juices, including orange.
And I'm going to tell you something, Canada, I feel sorry for y'all because Trudeau has been running y'all's country into the ground. He has been running your country into the ground, bruh. Like, everything he's done has been wrong. And this right here is going to be worse. This shit right here is going to be worse. And for all you folks that love to come in here with your little theories and shit, talking about some, well, what if Canada turns the power off? How many of you Americans in here right now that are Trump supporters that think Trudeau has the balls to turn the power off in America? Anybody? Is there anybody in here that thinks he has the nuts to do that? Damn right he don't want that smoke. He don't want that smoke. You let him turn any power off to any state. You feel me? Watch what happens.
Orange juice, along with vegetables, perfume, clothing, and shoes. It'll include major consumer products like household appliances, furniture, and sports equipment, and materials like lumber and plastics, along with much more. And as part
Man, the shit, first of all, Trudeau, you playing yourself. And I'm going to tell you why you playing yourself, bro. The stuff we get from you, the stuff America gets from Canada makes up 2% of our GDP. 2%. The stuff they get from us makes up 75% of their GDP. How is this a smart move, Trudeau? I get it. You want to try to prove to everybody you can stand up to Trump. It ain't going to work. It ain't going to end well for you, bro. It's not going to end well for you, bro. Like, we don't look. Hey, fuck around and find out.
Part of our response, we are considering, with the provinces and territories, several non-tariff measures, including some relating to critical minerals, energy, procurement, and other partnerships. We will stand strong for Canada.
You won't. No, you won't.
We will stand strong to ensure our countries continue to be the best neighbors in the world. I want to speak directly to Americans, our closest friends and neighbors. This is a choice that, yes, will harm Canadians, but beyond that, it will have real consequences for you, the American people. As I have consistently said, tariff.
Oh, look at how he's trying to turn the American people against Trump. Look at that. Look at that. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? You really think you're going to try to turn the American people against Donald Trump?
Tariffs against Canada will put your jobs at risk, potentially shutting down American auto assembly plants and other manufacturing facilities. They will raise costs for you, including food at the grocery stores and gas at the pump. They will impede your access to an affordable supply of vital goods crucial for U.S. security, such as nickel, potash, uranium, steel, and aluminum. They will violate the free trade agreement that the President and I, along with our Mexican partner, negotiated and signed a few years ago. Together, we've built the most successful economic, military, and security partnership the world has ever seen.
You're just afraid that the truth will come out.
What truth?
That you lied.
A relationship that has been the envy of the world. Yes, we've had our differences in the past, but we've always found a way to get past them. As I've said before, if President Trump wants to usher in a new golden age for the United States, the better path is to partner with Canada, not to punish us.
Man, shut the hell up. We done taking care of y'all, man. We're done. We're done allowing you and other countries like you to take advantage of us, the American taxpayer. We're sick of it. We're sick of being the world's baby daddy that's on child support. Trump better than me, because if I was an American president, I would have fixed this problem a long time ago. I'd have took Canada and Mexico. Like straight up and down. Like you up there giving speeches, talking real tough for somebody without a military. Like for real. Talking real tough. Like, bruh, like what you doing? Yeah, we are tired of being the world's baby daddy. You feel me? The amount of money that we send out to other countries to take care of other countries, that shit gotta come to a stop, bruh. That shit is tired, bruh. It's over. It's done. It's done, Trudeau. And last time I checked, you resigned. So why the hell are you even up there running your mouth, man? We need to find a replacement for you, because you bugging. You bugging right now, for real. But let me give a shout outs to some of these folks. Shout out to Mr. Lone Star. He said rock out AM. Let's see. Shout out to something about beauty. Said keep spitting facts. Rock on. Shout out to facts. Shout out to Mr. Lone Star. He said, is that the black dude from Spencer for Hire? Shout out to Bootzilla. He said, vote for Quintessa, please. Shout out to Cornelia, said he and his party was going to lose if he stayed as the leader, so he dropped out before the October election. Shout out to Something About Beauty, said Trudeau is dead in the water. We Canadians are tired of him, believe me. Oh, I know. Trust me. I know y'all tired of him. You gotta be. You gotta be. And he's gonna put y'all in a messed up situation that y'all are gonna have to deal with that he ain't gonna have to deal with. And that's the messed up part. Shout out to the lowly one, said, isn't this the same weasel that went to Mar-a-Lago not too long ago? Yep. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's see. Shout out to Jim Rat. He said, well, I already read that one. My bad. Shout out to King Mars. He said, AM, you're very smart and you make me feel smart. That's what's up. Shout out to Emperor. Emperor said, continue the show. Shout out to James. James said, love it when libtards eat each other. Shout out to Keenan, said publication. Shout out to Julie, said being awesome, for being awesome. Shout out to Steve, he said support and appreciate you. So, yo, I appreciate everybody that tuned into the show. This is another long one. I told y'all, man, we got so much to cover. Nowadays, it's crazy. We got to try to cover as much of it as we can because I want to keep you guys informed about everything that's going on. You know, all of the little trickery that the Democrats are trying to pull, you know, all of that crap so you know what's going on so they can't fearmonger you guys and all of that. But yeah, Donald Trump is not playing no games. You know, I'm so glad that I can wake up now knowing I'm not in Biden's America anymore. We're in Trump's America. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm looking forward to these 4 years. You feel me? But yo, anybody in here, make sure you guys go through to Amazon and check out my book, The Angryman Standard, which is available on Amazon. All you have to do is type The Angryman Standard in the search bar, and it will come up. Make sure you guys click the link on the screen so you can get your Don't Start No Shit, Won't Be No Shit t-shirt. You feel what I'm saying? Or you can go to shopBinoNation.com. Again, that is shopBinoNation.com. But other than that, man, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. And I'm going to holler at y'all later. Deuces.
Spartans! What is your profession?